Updated tax guidelines.
The change reverses long-standing restrictions on religious organizations and political speech.
China officially began construction on the massive Yarlung-Zangbo hydropower project in Tibet today.
The dam, projected to be the world's largest, is part of Beijing's strategy to expand clean energy capacity. Critics warn of ecological damage and displacement of local communities, calling for stronger environmental reviews.
A Southeast Asian Air Force jet collided with a civilian school in Dhaka, killing at least 20 people and injuring over 100.
The aircraft veered off course during a training exercise before striking the building. Local authorities have launched an immediate investigation into the incident.
President Trump unveiled the administration's new AI action plan yesterday afternoon at a summit in Washington, D.C.
Promised measures include standards for safe AI deployment across federal agencies.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted.
Don't ever forget your mother. She played a very important
Independent
role.
fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
I guarantee at least half the opinions you expressed comes by your mother. Even me. And I didn't even get along with my mother. There you have that. We got to say about it. Nothing.
Damn, it's hot and hot.
Nobody loves me.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Well, that makes me feel better.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
And you know, the mustache guy doesn't work on beard. And all the side hair thing kind of stops right around melt pattern vaulted. MPP, as we like to call it. It's kind of itchy here, isn't it? Good morning, you degenerates. It's good to have you here. It is Thursday. Oh, is that going to stop on? Look, it stopped on its own. Something about that button. It's just it teases me. Anyway, it's Thursday, July 24th. 2025. It might be Dang One Thang's birthday. I think it might be July 24th. I should give old Dang a call. I was thinking about Dang yesterday when I was talking about Tommy Monahan. All the story. I'm not going to go into that. We have been talking a bit about South Park on the program in the last week and a half or so. And coincidentally, I've never watched, I said several times, never watched an episode of South Park, but I have to now. I think from what I'm understanding, Matt and Trey and Matt, Matt and Trey, they've invested a lot of money in a whole lot of content creation technology to do some, to basically burn Trump and the Trump administration hard. And they're calling it a scorched earth comedy. They're not calling it that. Some of their fans are calling it that. And now I'm curious. Now somebody told me they were up at 6:30 this morning. Couldn't wait to get up and watch South Park. Hey, I got to check it out now, right? I got to check it out. You got to check it out. Anyway, maybe we'll talk about that. We have a guest on today who, if you remember last Friday, I think it was last Friday. It might have been Thursday. I don't remember anything. What day is it? We had a guy on. I'm not going to say his name, Matt Millen, that went to prison, said he found responsibility and accountability, and was taking taking responsibility for his actions, and then he didn't, and made all sorts of excuses. Talked about victim of he called himself persecuted, but he didn't use the word victim. I had to pull teeth to get him to say, "You're saying you're a victim." Anyway, that ended a little, kind of a little rough ending there. I think I said something to the effect of, I don't know.
What? I'm glad you got ass raped in fucking prison. You're a fucking dick. Get the fuck off my program, you dick face asshole.
Yeah, that's about how I remember it. Anyway, so today we have a guest on who has also been to prison and he's now like a leadership guy. He has truly taken accountability and responsibility for his actions, and talks about people. And he's got a book out. His book is Path of Rocks and Stones or something. He's got some kind of book. Oh, am I? The Path of Rocks and Thorns, not Stones. Anyway, we're going to talk about how to use the shit that happens to you in your life. These things, and they're not mistakes; they're bad decisions generally, and how to use those to improve your life. His name is Doug Smith, and I said earlier in the week that we had this guy on before. We have had a Doug Smith on. He's a Mountie. Remember the Mountie guy, the Canadian Mountie? This isn't him. So that's why I was saying it doesn't look like the same guy, but it's from the same publicist. But it ain't him. Anyway, he's a Texas guy and a leadership guy, and he's got this book about how to use the shit that happens to you, and turn it into the gold that happens to you, or use it to your advantage. That will be what we'll be talking about at some point in this show. And then we'll probably talk about South Park, and we'll probably talk about why Trump sucks. Listen, Trump's artificial intelligence thing. He says he doesn't like anything artificial. Wait, what about your face? What about when you're faking way into fake people? That's artificial. What about that orange fucking tan he's got? It's fake. It's as fake as my black mustache, which is really white like this. Yeah, so he doesn't like anything fake, but everything about him is fake. If you don't laugh when he says, "I don't like anything artificial," there's no hope for you. You're too far gone. Too far gone. Don't come back. The House Republicans are running away from the Epstein files. We'll probably talk about that. And a whole lot of other shit. Now, it's time for a commercial so I can get GD in here and make fun of his phony artificial blackface that he comes in here every morning. Actually, I find that in poor taste, to be honest with you. It's about time I confronted him on that. But in the meantime, I probably have some kind of stupid commercial I could play for you. You know what? I'm going to play this one because why not?
Soft and pink. She comes without a head, but at least she'll never shit the bed. You need a fake rubber squeeze. Be like Stephen Ortiz. Lube it up, it's so soft. Get your 10% off. He goes to Tantalene. He goes to Tantalene. He goes to Tantalene. He goes to Tantalene.
Your favorite banker, Stephen the Embezzler Ortiz, hiding the nipple with his big Amish head Anyway, before I say hello to GD, there's breaking news. Barack Obama has been arrested. Oh no, that's just some other black dude. They all look alike. Anyway, with me now is GD Fenderson, the fabulous, lovely, sexy, and talented award winner of the worst comedy special of all time. Good morning, GD.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Hey, are you lonely because you're unable to make sisters so wet? Well, you can earn your MSSW at MindDogTV.com. Go to the live tutorial on MindDogTV.com on Wednesday evenings at, damn, I forgot to check the time. I think it's 8 p.m. Monday, MindDogTV.com. Live tutorials on how you can earn your MSSW and make sisters so wet in the future. MindDogTV.com. Support the local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering.
So wet. Make sisters so wet. I kind of like that. But here's the problem. If I take out a loan for my student debt, I have to actually pay that money back. I thought I was going to not have to pay that back. I thought college was going to be free. And
I think there's a loophole. I think the IRS is just giving people a loophole. Because when he said the churches can now endorse candidates and still retain their status, you can form a church, okay, and then make your entire congregation nothing but teachers, okay, and then have them donate their time, accredit and educate you, and then you save money by just taking the test for your degree.
I like it in theory. The problem is this, and maybe Doug, he's not due for it until 10:15. So, but the idea of collecting money makes me feel like an imposter. And Doug has written about the imposter syndrome. I don't do well. I think you have to have confidence when you're asking people to put money in the plate as it comes by.
Well, there are passive aggressive ways where you ask for money without actually asking for money.
I get it, but I don't have that natural. Maybe this is a limiting belief I have, but I feel like I would fail at that. Like there are some guys, the snakeskin shoes, get boots guys, and the they're good at that. I'm not.
And that's why you hire, or that's why you get a volunteer whose job it is to just hit people up for money. You're not asking for a damn thing. Now all you are is the treasurer, where you're just keeping a tab on the money that's been presented to you that you don't know how you got because you weren't there when it was collected.
I appreciate your encouraging me to get into this and your supportive words on this, but I feel like it's everything else I do in life. It's just going to be the same fucking pipe dream failure. Okay, I don't think there's all this negativity you talk about. Yeah, Willie, that's what I think.
Well, now that the
I was talking to my inner Willie.
Oh, okay.
My inner Willie.
Oh,
I know.
Your inner Willie.
Never outer Willie.
Your inner Willie has erectile dysfunction because I barely noticed it.
Yeah.
Now that the Reverend can actually can endorse candidates without fear of losing his tax exempt, he's going to go all out now.
Well, I was going to bring that up. He could maybe if he could actually take a penny in, he doesn't have to pay taxes on that penny when it does come in. But that's one of the complaints. I don't know if you know this about the Rev. That inner Willie must be the
something you ate.
Yeah,
like ass.
Wonder fucking foul taste in my top. But where was I? Oh yeah, the major complaint from people in like various chat rooms. This is about politics. This ain't church. Now they can't make that complaint anymore. I'll just refer them to Trump. Hey, it's cool, or the IRS, which is really working for Trump. They said it's cool. You can talk about politics all day long.
And technically it's not about politics so much as it's about current events toward the end. The sermon, he's just talking about shit that's happened. It's not like he's making shit up.
Yeah.
And he does talk about, I've watched a couple things, and actually, sometimes I will write stuff for him, but he gets so worked up about something else that he doesn't even read what I wrote for him.
Or sometimes he just loses the script or something.
Yeah, that's happened too. If his tablet decides to update, like 2 minutes or a minute before go live.
Yeah. Maybe we should do it when Doug Smith comes on. We'll give him the exact same interview or conversation that we had with Doug Smith, the Canadian Mountie, and he'll be looking at us like, Canadian Mountie.
Let me get my Dudley Do Right research together. It's gonna take a minute. Oh, I had it right here. No, no.
South Park. Did you hear about it? I mean, I've seen one of the clips. They had Trump getting naked in the desert and falling down. Looked like he died in the desert. Have you seen when his little orange dick pops up? Now, will they show that on South Park? Because they showed it on Twitter. He dropped it.
Oh, I think they'll show it on South Park.
Because
the beauty of South Park is it comes on the air after a certain hour, and so
paid cable too, right?
It's on basic cable, but like when the first time they decided that after 9 o'clock you could use the word shit in a certain context, they tried to set some record for using the word shit.
Wow, I didn't even know you could say shit in a certain context. What's the context?
Whatever the context they use.
Shit is shit, right? I mean,
well, no, because you can use it as a verb, you can use it as an adverb.
Oh, shit.
You can use it, shit. You can use it as a verb, adverb, adjective. Just like fuck.
Oh.
So certain words, if you use it a certain way, you can say it without repercussions.
Wow. I did not know. I don't know who rules on that now. It's the FCC.
Well, it's the FCC still, but I don't know if they have taken the time to fix one of those. Sometimes there are things that they would love to fix if they just knew it existed, and if they're busy doing other shit, they won't know about it until somebody else with clout reaches out to them or reaches out to someone who can reach out to them and go, I really don't like the fact that they said that Trump can eat shit and die, or Trump is full of shit, whatever it is, however the context is. And then they go, well, we need to put a stop to that. And, so unless I am going to Google South Park says shit on air. Let me see, South Park.
I feel like this was I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Do anybody out there know the word I'm looking for? Have you seen the word I'm looking for? If you see it, send it home. Selective prosecution of profanity, because they're the 7 dirty words that you couldn't say. How does shit get special treatment? I mean, I don't know. Who does shit know that they got special treatment on this? We follow the money. Who knows who's backing shit?
Okay, here's the episode was called "It Hits the Fan." That was what the episode was called. The episode "It Hits the Fan" from South Park is a pivotal moment in the series, as it features the highest usage of the word shit on television, with 162 times in a single episode. Now, mind you, an episode is actually only 22 minutes long if you take out the commercials.
Right.
Not 30 minutes, but it's like 22 minutes. So 162 times in about 22 minutes. This episode is a satirical take on the impact of uncensored language on society, leading to a mysterious plague and the emergence of the Knights of Standards. That's KNIGHTS, Knights of Standards and Practices. The episode is known for its clever writing and the way it escalates from a mundane event into a significant adventure. It has been noted for its historical significance in television history and its role in the evolution of language and censorship standards.
Damn, that's got to be the most highfalutin paragraph ever written about a animated comedy.
Well, it was written on Wikipedia, so I don't know who highfalutin it.
All right. So the mundane event was, I got to take a shit.
I don't know what the mundane. He could have just hit his thumb. He could have hit his thumb on it with a hammer and went shit.
Oh, yes.
That would be mundane and very typical. And then from there, and because I don't remember, I remember the episode in principle, like in bits and pieces. And if that was how it started with something like that, and he goes shit, and then someone goes, "You can't say that on television."
I think you're shitting me.
Yeah. Yeah, see, it could be.
Yeah. But why does shit get special treatment? I was always a big fan of fuck, and still a pretty big fan of fuck. But there were other words in there. What was shit, piss, cunt, motherfucker? Cunt is not a bad one. I mean,
well, you probably don't remember this from me. Well, you might remember this from when we were at the Giggle Room. I had a bit about not wanting that niggard in my fucking club,
yeah.
which is a perfectly clean sentence that you probably could not say on television.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing gets a lot of laughs and groans at the same time. It gets both.
I got slapped once for saying that niggardly guy is masticating too loudly.
Yeah. Well, you should never use the word masticating along with the adverb to.
Oh.
I don't blame them for smacking you. It's probably an English teacher.
But
too loudly. It'd be too loud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have slapped you. They should have slapped the ly right back out of your mouth.
Well, it wasn't the person who was masticating too loudly. It was the woman I was sitting across from. I think she was upset because I said niggardly, and she didn't know what that meant. But I noticed that he did not tip well. So
then he was niggardly.
He was niggardly, but she thought I was saying something else. And I think
especially if the service was good. If it was good service and they didn't tip just because they're a cheap motherfucker, they niggardly.
Especially if they're masticating loudly in a booth over there. I mean,
I don't think it's chewing too loudly. I think it's summa cum laude. Cum loudly.
That's a good point, and it's the point on my head, I think. Yes, we have no guests tomorrow, and I'm not even sure what the hell I'm doing anymore. I wake up and I say, what the hell am I doing? You know what my big plans for today are?
Calling Abby Russell and finding out if she's going to be on the show tomorrow.
Oh no, you know what? I do owe Abby a phone call. Thanks for reminding me that. She called the other day during the show, and I said I'll call you back after the show, and I never did. That was 2 days ago. So I guess she's probably still sitting by the phone. That's a long show. That's a long show.
Well, was that the show when you left and I had to turn things off and I couldn't? Oh, speaking of which, if you ever have to leave again, okay, and since I cannot turn off the iHeartRadio thing, I think I know what I can do so that people aren't just listening to your static room. I can leave it on the air, leave it running, and go to screen share and go to playlists, and it'll just run through episode after episode after episode until it turns off.
Wow.
Right?
I think so.
In theory.
In theory, that works. I am considering, and I'm like, well, what am I? Who the fuck am I kidding? It's an idea, a pipe dream I have in my head to buy a sync license. Now, when we were on,
wait a minute. You said, I can see if you said a bong dream, but you actually had a pipe dream?
Yes.
I could see pipe bomb dream or a bong dream, but not pipe. You have a pipe?
I need a wrench to kind of fix my pipe. I can't get the ball off. It's a little clogged. I would be smoking out of a pipe because I don't know if I told you about this, but smoking out of a pipe is far more economical than smoking joints. Like I could just take this little pipe.
Right.
If I just take a little bowl of that, I'm good. That's like that. I could get like probably 12. No, I'm exaggerating. 5 bowls of this would make a joint for me, and I get the same high from that one joint that's equal to 5 bowls as I would just smoking 1 bowl in this thing.
And also, you can also tamp it out so that you're not wasting when you're not smoking, when you're not inhaling. Because with the joint, when you're not inhaling, it's still burning and it's just going into the air.
Yeah, I like to hold it here.
Yeah, so you still while you breathe. Yeah, but with a pipe, you can take a hit. I mean, yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit in butane, but you're not wasting.
But they give you free lighters every time I got more lighters than fucking Bic. Every time you go to Puspatuk, they give you a free lighter, no matter what you buy. You could buy gummies, and they'll give you a free lighter.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now, are these like Mind coffee with the dog lighters? Can you put coffee with Look at this. I have a invisible lighter that I use to light things if I don't want to get caught.
Yeah, you know what? I was looking at promotional stuff too. Again, that falls into the pipe dream category. But the sync license thing, I used to have when we're on Live 365, we had a sync license, which means a sync license basically means you could play anything, anybody's music, not on YouTube, but on the radio stuff, and have a like automated DJ and play commercial music all day long, and you don't have to pay anything. The sync license covers it. But to get that on my own without Live 365, I found that it cost thousands of dollars a month. And they were only charging me like $15 a month for it. I should probably go back to Live 365. But so that's a pipe dream to get a sync license. But you know, in the meantime, you mentioned having writing on the lighters. I was looking at promotional items too, like at Mind Dog TV lighters and whatever. That's also kind of expensive. You know, you got to buy in bulk. You got to buy at least 1,000 of them. So you know, even if it's $2 a piece, you're sinking in $2,000 for it.
Well, I'm glad that because at one point, I don't know, I was ordering something. They offered me like 2 free ink pens with a logo on it or whatever, you know, as a sample. And so I thought, well, I will do what was it? Critical Joke Theory pens. So I got Critical Joke Theory, 2 free ones. And then shortly after I got it, things got so hectic that I had to give something up because I just could not. I didn't have the time. You know, with Critical Joke Theory, it didn't take me long to write, but most of the time, I take that back. Most of the time was spent writing, recording, and editing. Actually, that's the whole thing.
That is the whole thing.
Yeah.
What else? You left out the song and dance part?
Yeah, the writing, editing, and recording. But the actual recording only took like 20 minutes. The writing took maybe 5 to 6 hours. And then the editing took, you know, probably 5 hours or so.
I can't do it. I can't look at a camera. It's, you know, I could come on. I just babble it when I'm doing it to try, like the Hedberg thing that I still have not finished because I can't do it. Every mispronounced word, every every duh, every what, it drives me crazy. I want to start over. I can't just look at the camera and just do a reaction video. The people who do that, I give them credit because whether it's the political stuff.
Yeah, but you don't know how many takes it took them. I mean, you can give them credit, but and not only that, sometimes you can edit out the ums and the ers pretty much without it being noticed, or we notice that much unless you really, really pay attention. Because I have done that, especially if it's a reaction video. Like, I'll use Critical Joke Theory. My head is pretty much in the same position for the most part. I'm just, you know, reading off a script. And if I fuck up, I can back up. Even if I misplace a word, you know, like I may say, G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic analyst. Yeah. G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist. And I'll go back and I'll just change it and nobody even notice it. If I didn't have a scroll across the bottom that said Critical Joke Theory, if that's the only place you can tell, because I don't fix that. But I could actually fix that if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't feel like taking the extra time to fix the scroll so you would never notice when I skipped ahead.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the concept of editing, and I thought about it, and I just say, no, that's just gonna feel like Max Headroom. There's a little skip jump there, because I'm not really all that consistent in my head movements and all that stuff, and but I want to get one just off the cuff and straight, and I just can't allow it's like a mental block. I just can't do it. And the more I say I can't, if you say you can or you say you can, you're right. Either way, it's what you believe in yourself. You gotta be able to do it. I don't believe in myself because I'm an imposter. I think that's it. Anyway, that one's in the can. I want to do the thing about the Trump staging stuff because I have a real good idea for this Trump staging thing because I have video of him staging lots of things like waving to fake people, the behind the scenes stuff on The Apprentice where they're setting up shot. He knows about television production. He knows about staging. Right. And so that thing that I showed you yesterday, there's no doubt that was staged for PR. Now you can still argue that it wasn't fake. The shooting wasn't fake, but it was absolutely staged for maximum impact for television, made for television imagery. They had the crane with the flags ready to drop down behind them. They had the camera bringing the photographers to the right position. That's all staging. So there's no denying that it was staged, even if it wasn't faked. I think it was faked as well, because the FBI. I don't know if you know this. Fucking Willie is just coming out today. The FBI has not released a ballistics report on Thomas Cook's rifle. They refuse to. Why? If it shot 8 shots, there's no reason to not release that report. If they release that report and it says, well, he fired 3 shots, let's say, what happened? Who fired the other 5 shots? And if he didn't do any, that really looks bad for them. But they're not releasing that. That to me is a bigger thing than the Epstein files. Release that.
I wonder why the parents haven't, because that would if that could exonerate their son. If I was a parent, I would say, okay, everybody already thinks he did it, but if he didn't do it, I want the world to know. Release it.
The parents haven't said anything. That's so fucking weird, isn't it? I mean, the wife of the fireman, Corey Campatori. I think that was Campatori. She's out there talking about it all the time. The parents of this kid have not said anything. I find that very odd.
Well, it's possible. Like I said, if they think, if they think that their son did it, or they think that they are pariahs because everybody thinks their son did it. Now, I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying just the pressure, just the internal pressure that when people making you a pariah, you may not want to be seen anywhere.
And I think it's fair to assume that a lot of the people in their inner circle were Trumpers. They're Trumpers. They got to have Trumper friends. You don't find Trumpers without having Trumper friends. And so their Trumper friends probably hate you. Raised your kid to shoot at our idol. We love you, President Trump. We love you.
And also it is possible that that, like I said, I'm agreeing with you that it was that whole exit thing and it was staged. It's possible that they were ready for that. Was like how they wanted him to leave the stage. That whenever he left, they wanted him to go fight, and drop the flag, and then the producer saying that this is it, do it now. They dropping the flag and they're trying to get the reporters to take the pictures and the right angle. Right here, stand here. So they knew
absolutely a positive
that they want. That's the shot they wanted as he left. And then it's like everything else happens, and then they're going like, okay, we're going live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Go.
Right. I totally agree with you that could have been the premise, but then that guy who was the staging coordinator, the stage manager, whatever that guy is, was dragging the cameras around and saying, get the shot from here, get the shot from here. That guy he should get a medal for being the coolest.
For doing his job under pressure like that.
Yeah. Like, oh, wait a minute, he got shot. Hold on, I got this.
It's even possible. It's even possible he was so caught up in the stage thing that he had no idea guns had been that shit happened. It's like he went, oh fuck, they're leaving now.
Yeah.
Quick! I was getting high back there. I thought I had another 20 minutes.
But the more the FBI just refuses, I mean, because they've been asked to release the ballistic report and they're refusing to. Why? What good reason could they possibly have? Could there be a good reason to not release the ballistics report?
The only good reason, I'm only saying good reason because that answers your question, which is there a good reason? I believe the only reason that you would not want to release it is if it does not support your narrative.
Yeah.
Because the kid is already accused. He's been found guilty in a court of public opinion. There's not going to be a trial. So it's not like you're releasing evidence that would taint a trial. That trial is not going to happen. The kid is dead. He's never going to have his day in court. But if it would exonerate him, that would be something helpful to the memory of the child. It would be helpful to the memory of the parents. And it would be helpful that they would start looking for the actual shooter in that case, or shooters. If the ballistic report shows that it's 4 shots from one gun and 4 shots from another, or whatever whatever.
I think the kid was definitely there with the intent to shoot Trump. I mean, why else would he be there? But my thing is, they knew because they saw him setting up. The Secret Service, if they just and this is absolute fact, they knew at least 10 minutes before that he was on the roof. He had this knapsack with the gun and putting it together. They knew all that. So my thing is, if he didn't shoot anything, it's because they shot him first, even before he got the shot off, and then the actual shot came from a second shooter, and that's
or the kid had his finger on the trigger. He hadn't shot yet. They shoot him first, and he goes bang, and the bullet goes astray.
Either way, if he didn't shoot 8 bullets, though, because that's the claim. There were 8 shells found, 8 bullets fired. And first of all, I don't think the kid was not like a marksman. That's a lot to shoot in a short period of time before the Secret Service turns their gun on you. To get 8 shots off.
Maybe it's a semi-automatic. Maybe he went to the Lee Harvey Oswald School for.
I was going to say they claimed that 3 shots was too rapid for Oswald. 3 shots in that span of time. This 8 for this kid.
Yeah, but bullets have gotten so much better since then. It's not bullet technology is just off the chain now. Because you have smart bullets,
I have to confess, I know shit about fucking rifles and automatic rifles, especially semi-automatic rifles. I know shit about it. So
obviously, I'm displaying my ignorance as I speak, but I don't mind. I've displayed worse things than my ignorance in public.
I would look because there have been
and bigger
a few forensics and people who know about rifles and stuff, and this particular rifle, about the kind and people who know about ears and bleeding, who know about the damage that bullet would do to an ear, the amount of blood that would shoot out, because the end of your ear is not going to shoot all that blood down on your collar and all that stuff. That's another part of the staging thing.
Because that's mostly cartilage. Right, that's why the ear stays in its shape, is because of the cartilage.
Yeah, and the idea that Trump hung out with all these wrestlers, he's wrestling adjacent, as you would say. He knows all these wrestlers, and then that is a typical. You don't see the blood shooting out until the hand goes up over the.
What if Trump is on blood thinners and he doesn't want anybody to know? And that's why he's not explaining all the bloods. Like, I'm on blood thinners because I'm in really poor health. If you just nick me, I'm anemic. If you just nick me, I'm going to bleed like a pig hanging on a hook.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing about, he came out with this thing with his vein problem. And according to him, he was in perfect health up until they came out with that report. The last I've been the healthiest president he's ever seen. Oh yeah, well,
he could live to be 200. Right.
Did this condition just happen overnight? Because we've been seeing pictures of your little stumpy little ankles since the first administration, and the funny walks and all that kind of stuff. It didn't just happen overnight. It's like Biden's prostate cancer just didn't pop up. So that's a lie.
For some odd reason today, we're being inundated with people. It's only 4 people.
Yeah, they want to sell us stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not like if we wanted to buy viewers, we don't have a limited access to where we could find people to sell us viewers. If you think you're the only ones in that market, I think there are 7.5 billion people in your business, Mr. Selling Viewers thing. So it's not like there's a shortage of. We know every place. If we wanted to buy, it's like a fucking McDonald's. We know where it is. So we don't need. You don't have to come to us. We'll come to you.
I would get my viewers at Burger King, but that's just because I'm not a McDonald's guy.
Yeah, you like your flame broiled viewers.
Yes, I do. I like them dark. I like my charbroiled. I like my charbroiled viewers.
That's charbroiled. Why did I say flame broiled? Is it? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong again. What else would happen? Oh, the artificial intelligence thing, right? He wanted to. He says he wanted to stay unbiased, but clearly he wanted to be Trump biased, right?
Well, see, they again, the words that they say are not the words. What is not what they mean. It's what they want you to hear and what they want you to believe. That's not. It doesn't mean like when they say freedom. Freedom to them, when they say freedom, they're talking about the free to rob, the free to take your money, the freedom to tell you what to do, the freedom to control you. That's what they mean by freedom. But they don't say that. They just say freedom, and then all of their followers go, "Yeah, freedom. I want to call a spade a spade." Okay, you can do that now. You didn't need them. You already had First Amendment rights. You
freedom,
just have consequences.
I don't know if you know this about freedom. Willie, would you shut up today? Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
I mean, nothing. And that's what Bobby left me.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know why I had a thought in mind, but it probably will never come back to me. It left me. That was my only thought, too. It was the first thought I ever really had, and it just came and went like that. Hopefully it'll happen again.
A friend of mine, someone I used to work with at that place that rhymes with Comcast, posted a picture of him, an old picture of him standing next to the first car love of his life. Or I mean, the car that got away. And it was an old classic something. I can't remember what it was. But he's standing next to it, so proud. And he goes, "To this day, I resent letting this car go. Not cargo. Letting, selling, getting rid of this car." And so he goes, and I'm sure everybody has like a car that they regret losing. And so I wrote, my response was, "My car left me for some random guy in a tow truck, but I've never missed a payment. But I've never missed a payment since." So,
you got in one of those like your favorite car of your whole life, your first love car?
I do have a favorite car of my life, and that's probably my Acura Integra.
Wow, that's I mean, it's not a strange. I'm sure lots of people love that car. It's just well, it's not like
it was the time. It was when I got it. It was the way because before I got that Acura Integra, I mean, brand new, off the lot, brand new, had like 30 miles on it or something. Before that, the car I had was a Honda Civic that I got used. I bought it. Yeah, I bought a used Honda Civic because I needed a car in a hurry, and the car belonged to it was being sold by a friend, and Honda Civics, pretty decent cars, but it was falling apart. I didn't have money to buy another new car. I didn't have money to buy a new car, and then I got a different goal in my life. I said, I don't need a nice car. I don't care. I just need a car that's reliable. And the job I had gave me a company vehicle anyway. So I didn't need to spend money on a new car. So I had this ratty old Honda that, and then I went on, I used to go clubbing because I was in my 20s, late 20s. And I used to go clubbing a lot. And I'd meet women.
No, just a little clarification. When you say clubbing, you mean out to
Baby Seals
nightclub, not Baby.
No, Baby Seals. I used to go. Okay. I used to go out hitting Baby Seals, and as one is want to do when they're clubbing, you'd meet a woman, right? And they want to go home with you because at the night of clubbing, what goes better than sex with some random dude, right? And then I'd walk them out, and they go to their car, and I go to mine, and we'd like meet up, so we can follow each other home. And they see me in my car, and they go like, "Never mind." So after the third rejection, that everything is great inside the club, but once we got outside the club and they saw me in my car, I was so undesirable at that point that I thought to myself, this is stupid because I was saving so much money not having a car note. And so when I went out, I could buy them like nice dinners. I could take them to really nice places because I had like $600-700 expendable income, and so the women that would go out with me, I was like taking them to really nice places, but they would say, "Well, I'll pick you up. We won't go in your car," So that's fine by me. You can drive. I'll pay for dinner. I'm not. My ego is not, stuck up. Like I don't have to have a great car, but then the Honda started to fall apart piece by piece. Just like little things were starting to drop off, and I was still going, I'm not getting a new car. And then after the third rejection, when someone meets me and go like, yeah, I want to sleep with you, and they see me in the car and go like, never mind. That night, I said, fuck it. The next time something falls off this car, I'm getting a new car. And it's just like on cue, the muffler fell off.
He heard you.
Yeah, the car heard me. It's like, I can't take another minute of this shit. And the muffler fell off. And so I put the muffler in the back seat. I go home and I start looking for cars. And I had like a week or so, or maybe even 2 weeks. Because like I said, I had a company vehicle to go to and from work. So I started researching, and I find this car. I wanted the most reliable car I could find. Well, first I was looking for the most reliable, sexy car I could find. But all the sexy cars, terrible ratings, according to Consumer Car Digest. But I said, okay, well, what's the best car? What is the best car that I could afford? And it was Acura Integra. Got 4.5 stars, or 4.5 out of 5 circles. 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
I said, fuck. And I looked at the picture they had, and I said, but that's an ugly fucking car.
I think it's good. It's kind of sporty,
well, that's just it. The picture they had, it looked like shit. It was like, oh, this is an ugly fucking car. I said, but I want reliable. I said, I drove in a Honda Civic for Lord knows how long. At least I have a reliable car that's new. And I get to the dealership, and I said, this car is not as ugly as I thought. And then I went for a test drive, and I drove by those big plate windows that shops have. I was driving through this little town, and then I passed a bunch of plate glass windows, and I could see myself in the car, physically see myself in the car, and I went, damn, I look good in this car. I look fucking good. And so I said to the salesman, I said, you got to bring everybody that you try to sell a car down this street. I said, and have them look to the right so they can see themselves in the car. And he goes, I've never thought about that. I said, yeah. I said, because I was on the fence about this car until I saw myself in this car. I said, better yet, put one of these mirrors in the showroom, or at the dealerships. When people get in the car and as they're driving off the lot for the test drive, they can slow down and see themselves in that car. I said, you will close so many fucking deals. I said, because I was on the fence until I saw myself in this car. I didn't have to imagine it. I saw
a $1 billion, not $1 billion, probably exaggeration, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurial endeavor. And I used to work as a project manager for Auto Style Mart for a brief part. What we did was build kiosks for dealerships for aftermarket stuff. So if you go in to buy a car, you want to see what that car looks like with the spoiler on it. It automatically
the flames, the flames on the hood.
The next evolution that you're talking about is you take a selfie, you put it in there, and then it shows you in that car. And that would help sell those cars. That's a great idea. We maybe it's not too late to pitch that to Auto Style Mart. I think they're now part of. They got bought up by another company. But you know what? I'm going to steal that from you. And if it ever makes a penny, I'll still steal that from you. I'll steal that too.
That's it. And so he was like, "No, you're right." But he said the dealership is not going to spend the money for like a plate glass window so that people can see themselves in the car. And I said, well, fine. I said, we drive them down the street, and have them look across the street at themselves in the car.
The dealership is not going to pay for something that is going to pay for itself on the very first
day. I think he just didn't want to ask.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I would have asked. I would have gone up and I said, I have a suggestion.
I got even one better. It shows you with Scarlett Johansson in the passenger seat.
Well, but what if? Look, I'm not saying she's not an attractive woman, but I find the same problem with that is like when I used to list what comedians endorsed me and what comedians I headlined for, because they would see it and somebody might go like, "Oh, he's a dick."
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, but he's a famous international comedian who's actually on television right now. You could hear his voice on television, and he endorsed me. He said I'm like really funny, and I opened for him, and I got pictures, and they're like, yeah, but I don't like him, so I'm not. So that it's you don't you have to it have to be done with AI, and then you get to pick the woman that you want.
You can, you're right. I would probably pick Anna Diarmas. For me. I don't know. It's a can I get one of each? Can I get a three seats in the front, or maybe I get in the middle, and Anna will be driving?
No. Can I get Can I get one in the seat, one on my face? This is a self-driving car, right? I can put somebody on my face. It got a sunroof, right? They can just put their head out the top.
Yeah, I had a couple of cars that I went through when I was 39. I went through this one of the midlife crises that I had. I was just buying Spitfires and Alfa Romeos and MG midgets and all that stuff. The Alfa Romeo I bought, it would look like the original Get Smart car, spy car, and I love that car. That was my favorite car to drive. I crashed it into a bread truck and demolished it. Luckily to survive that crash, but that was my favorite car to drive. I mean, that I felt like Maxwell Smart. Missed it by that much. Driving that car, I could have used a cone of silence and maybe 99, and everything would have been perfect. That would have been Maxwell Smart, Agent 86.
Now, you see, I just got reminded of something, and I want to see if you remember this joke. You say it's done like a little song. You say, I take her right leg, place it over my shoulder, her left leg over my shoulder. I
don't remember that joke, but I do remember.
You don't remember that?
I used to, when people would request the hokey pokey at weddings, I would do the fucky sucky.
I remember.
You put your big dick in, you put your big dick out, you stick your big dick in, and you tell it all about. You do the fucky sucky, and you make a scream and shout. That's what it's all about. And then the band was thrown out.
It has to be the last song of the night. Yeah, we're going to end on this, whether we want to or not.
Well, that's what you deserve for asking for the hokey pokey. Come on. Is there anything that says doofus more than the hokey pokey? I don't know.
The chicken dance.
Oh yeah, that's pretty bad too.
Only again, you can change it to the licking dance. We're gonna do the licking dance.
You gotta be prepared. I wasn't prepared. To be honest with you, for all those fucking retarded songs, I should have had one really dirty version of it. The chicken dance, the licking dance. I'm gonna have to come up with that.
Yeah, get your little hands just like this.
I got hired for a wedding next month. Well, September. They made me go jump through hoops. Like this woman, she contacted me. I heard you're a great guitarist, and I said to her on the phone, I said, I would never claim to be a great guitarist. That would, I'm okay. I'm a working musician. I get by with what I'm not claiming to be. I heard you're a great guitarist. Okay. And we want to hire us for a wedding. Is there any place I can come see you perform? I was like, this week and next week, I'm only performing at like senior centers and nursing homes, but you're welcome to come. But I'm doing a walk around. It would be really awkward tomorrow. I'm doing a walk around.
Well, actually, then you could say, do you have anybody you love that's in a senior citizen senior home or that you haven't visited? This would be a good time to visit. Yeah. Tell me which one.
And yeah, as a matter of fact, she was like right down the block from the nursing home I'm performing at tomorrow. And I was thinking, yeah, it will be a little awkward, but you can come and walk around with me. But then I said, you know what? I'll do a demo tape for you. And I did a demo tape of a bunch of stuff that she was asking for, old stuff, Frank Sinatra and whatever. And so I did that. And she said, this is great music. Can I hire you? Here's the date and the place and all time. I said, yeah, I'm in. She said, can I send you a few songs to add to the repertoire? I said, yes, you can. I'm pretty certain I probably know them anyway. But then she said, the last part of it was no singing. No singing. It's just you playing guitar, which is totally different
Yeah, then your guitar work has to be on point.
You
There's
got
no
to be a great guitar. I mean, I
yeah.
know lots of chord melody stuff, but not 3 hours of chord melody stuff that they're going to necessarily recognize. Like, and especially when the stuff she was requesting, like old time crooner stuff, Frank Sinatra stuff, the chords are not in those songs it's not made for an acoustic guitar
Right,
anyway.
they're bitch. Those chords are a bitch.
Yeah.
And
So, and now you got to play those chords with the chord melody on top of it so that they can hear what song you're actually playing. Because I can't just play the rhythm part. People be just like, okay, when does the song start? So now it's like we agreed on the entire deal. The contract was ready to be signed, and now you tell me no singing, just guitar work. I was like, wow, that's a lot to add to my.
Yeah, I'd written a song, and I was so proud of the chord structure and everything. I presented to my was he my bass player? No, with the band had already broken up. I think the band had already broken up. But I was working on this piece, and I thought to myself, yeah, but the song just seems too long, too slow. And I thought, and it was like it was like a 5-minute song. And I sent it to Phil, and I said, Phil, I need some help making this more upbeat. And so he sends me a note back, and he goes, you have too many chords. He goes, you have too many chord changes, is what he says. Too many chord changes. He says, you have an A9, an A11, an A this, and A that. And he goes, just play A. The bass player can take those other notes, or a keyboard can pick up those other notes. And then he got rid of half the chords. Literally, he got rid of half because of all the chord changes. And once he did that, I could play the song faster because I didn't have to worry about all those funky changes, which is why the song was so slow, because I'd already had the lyrics, but I just hadn't sung them yet. Now, when I like this melody, I like this chord structure underneath of it, but I was doing it slow because I needed the extra time to form those funky chords. And then he gets rid of those chords, like, oh shit, now the song is like only 2 minutes and 40 seconds long because he got rid of all the funky stuff.
I did that last week when I was playing some arrangements of really old music, like Bing Crosby Swinging on a Star and stuff like that. But I added a bunch of passing chords in there that I was doing to impress myself. And then I look around the room and nobody's even noticing. It's like, what? I'm doing this for me. Like, these people are, wow, that's really cool that you can actually walk the bass and play all these ninth and seventh chords all the way in between other chords. And nobody knows.
I remember Phil and I did a duet, and we were playing at a silent auction. So we were the entertainment, and they were just listening to us for, I don't even know how long the silent auction was. And we knew nobody was actually listening to us because like we threw on some good classic songs like Anything Goes. Again, I don't know if you've ever played Anything Goes, but it's got a lot of, again, it's one of those old jazz, old timey songs.
Yeah.
Olden days when Glips and Stocking was looked on as something shocking. Well, heaven knows anything goes.
I think that's from Old Frankenstein. I mean, I'm not from, but they do it in Old Frankenstein. I think so.
I'm thinking that what they do putting on the Ritz. I know.
Yeah, I know that too. But
Anything I don't know if they do Anything Goes on Young Frankenstein, but so we're doing that. I think that was that Cole Porter.
I think so. Yes.
And so we're doing that, but we also did like some of our own original stuff that we used to do as a band because we knew nobody's listening. We could do band stuff. We could do. We did Give Me That Old Time Religion, but it was like a parody version of it. Like Aphrodite and her see-through 90, all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, so it was.
Let's because this is very telling. We have a comment in here. I'm Nicole. Good morning, Nicole. I'm a passionate gamer who loves this game. This game is called Stall. We've named this game Stall Until Doug Gets Here. It's a new game coming out. It's available on PlayStation and whatever else you play on.
Sega.
He'd love to team up for some matches. I'm also a streamer. Feel free to connect with me in Discord and Bladebone. Whatever. The game. That's your move.
Good morning, Ann. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was so busy talking to Phil. Good morning, Ann in California, Bakersfield. Good morning.
Hello. What do you call that move in the game? The and hello? Is that I don't know what you call that.
I think that's called the acknowledgement of contributor.
All right, there you go. Hello, Ann. How are you? I can't. I can't hear you. Come on.
She says, "Good morning, Matt and GD."
Oh, something.
I missed you the other night, and I did a show, and I didn't see you in the audience.
Something came through email just before we went on. Somebody who's been on this show said they have a cooking show that used to be on television or something, and they said we're now off of television on this new platform, and we're gone completely SAG. What does that mean? It's a fucking cooking show. I got completely SAG. But he said, I remember when I was on your show, you guys offered to sponsor me. I was like,
I don't think so.
What? You guys? First of all,
no.
I don't remember ever offering to sponsor anybody.
You don't even sponsor yourself.
Exactly. But I was like, I'm baffled by this. It's just a long letter, and I'm thinking, do you have the wrong Matt? Maybe, but he says you guys offered to sponsor me. And
how many when they were on? How many people was maybe Willie offered to sponsor them, or maybe one of the other people you were with at the time?
Like, where would Willie get a fucking dime to sponsor anything? I mean,
no, I think he was supposed to come into some money, like $10,000, $30,000. He was coming into $30,000, and he just needed $10,000 as seed money to get to $30,000 or something.
Yeah. But it's confusing. I don't know. I'm probably not going to answer it. I'm probably just going to let it sit there until he says, "Did you get my last email?" And then I won't answer that one either.
I have a friend that lives out in California. I'm going to use the word friend loosely because when I actually say friend, when I say like a friend, I mean somebody who will help me move. If I had to move, they would be there to help me move. To me, that's a friend. So I have 5 friends. Everybody else, everybody else.
If they will help you bury the body, that's a friend.
Well, I don't plan on ever having help burying a body. And that's, if I have to get rid of a body, I live near woods and I have vultures that come by daily. And all they got, and I can get rid of the bones by myself. I have a chainsaw that's electric, so nobody's going to hear me power up a gas chainsaw in the woods and wonder what that sound is. My electric chainsaw go like, nothing. So you don't hear anything. So I can get rid of a body by myself. I'm just saying. So, but moving, those I got like 5 people who have proven to me they will help me move. So this guy, he's a comedian, and he's probably in the worst witness protection system ever, because he gets he's 4 times a year he'll send me a new phone number, and so he recently, I posted something on TikTok, and he sent me a note that goes, "That was so stupid. I only got through the first 15 to 20 seconds. I was laughing so hard I had to watch it again." And so I thanked him, and he goes, hit me up. So I sent him a text. Now I called him. Now, mind you, he sent me this message at 3:00 in the morning. 3:00 in the morning my time. So it was like midnight his time. And I didn't see it until 7. So I just sent him a message, so I'm just seeing this. I'll call you later. So I call him when I know he'd be awake. And when the outgoing message on the phone says, the person at this number cannot receive calls at this time. To me, that sounds like a burner phone or something.
Yeah, or something.
So, but that's the number I have for him. So I send him a text and says, "I called you and I got this message." He sends back, "This is my new number." Okay, I just sent him a text on the number he just sent me back that says, "This is my new number."
That's interesting.
Yeah, and not only that, he hadn't responded to the last message that I sent him, letting him know that somebody had his phone number and was saying that you have not collected your $20 that this person has put in your Flip account. I don't have a Flip account. I didn't know there was such a thing as Flip.
Yeah. What the hell?
But they're doing it from his phone number. They have cloned his phone number. No.
That's some scary shit. How because I get stuff like that, like text messages from Matt Napa. I was like, wait a minute, somebody is hacking into my text message so they could send me a message. That doesn't make it, but it bothers me that somebody can put my name in somehow the text recognizes it coming from Matt Napa. Hey, what the hell?
Yeah, and that kind of concerns me. The fact that people can clone your phone or your phone number and send messages out to other people, asking for money or scamming people. Which I don't like people. I don't like scammers anyway. But then you're scamming in my name. I believe that I should have the right to kill you, shoot you.
Yeah.
Except for I don't have a gun. I don't own a gun. I think guns are for cowards. But I have swords, and I do believe in up close and personal. So I will stab your ass.
Stabbity stab.
Stabbity stab. I got swords. I have axes. I have spears. I have all kinds of nunchucks with blades at the bottom of them. I have all kinds of stabbity stab stuff.
You ever been stabbed?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got stabbed in the back by somebody I was trying to protect. Literally stabbed in the back, not figuratively stabbed in the back. Guy was stopped under a red light. He had a black Cadillac. It's like 2:00 in the morning, and he's beating the fuck out of this girl who's in the driver's seat, and he's punching her. And I went over and I grabbed him. I kind of got him and threw him up against the car, and I was about to hit him when I felt the stab in my back, right by my kidney here. The girl.
It was the girl?
Yeah, the girl.
Yeah.
She was getting the shit kicked out of her. I mean, really punched to the face. Like I saw at least, it's foggy memory, but I think at least 3 good male full-on right hands to her face before I would manage to grab him and protect her. And the way of saying thank you was, thanks so much. Here's a little blade in your kidney.
I need to clarify something, and you can tell me if I've been stabbed, okay? I was hit with a board, 2x4, with nails protruding from it. Oh. And the nails is what penetrated my skin.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's considered stabbing or that it has to be a knife.
It feels like stabbing.
Because otherwise I'm just being penetrated by another man. And I think I'd rather say I was.
Or as, what's his name? Can't think of his name. The guy in with Mel Gibson. Danny Glover would say, nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed him. With the nail gun.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that stabbing is as opposed to just getting penetrated by another man.
Did you have to get shots and stuff for tetanus and all that?
I'd already had my tetanus shots from a previous incident, but what I did was I was in a fight. I was in a fist fight. I was a youth. I was a ute.
Ute?
I was a ute, and I was in a fist fight, and I was winning. I was kicking this guy's ass all over the place, but he was surrounded by family, and I was by myself. So they gave him the board with the nails in it. And so he starts swinging it, and I just let him hit me. I just let him hit me in the stomach with it. And I just and then it got stuck in my stomach. And I pulled his arm forward, and I just started wailing away on him. And then I pulled the board out later after I pummeled him to nothing. And then 2 days later, we're friends again. We're friends again, sharing potato chips and soda.
I was just checking BitChute because you remember when we had Ray Vahey on. He said that it would be I could just sign up and start streaming there right away. It's I think over a week now since he's been here, and they still haven't enabled my streaming. And they're giving me this runaround, even after I mentioned Ray. I played the Ray. I know the CEO personally, and
you played the Ray's card.
Yeah, the Ray card.
The Ray's card, yeah.
And it didn't work. They're still not hooking it up. But I did upload some videos there. They're not getting a lot of views. Most of these things it just seems like a really, weird network of people who just want to say the most outrageous things, and they're not getting a lot of views for it. Not like they would if they were on YouTube or Twitter. You say these are outrageous things, and you would be blown up by it. they
Right.
can say all this stuff on there, and they get like I don't know 1,000 views. Where if it was on YouTube, I think it'd be 1 million. Like Epstein's VIP clients caught on camera has 58 views. Come on, that would people would just the clickbait alone of that title would get you millions on YouTube. I don't know, so it's not really that important. But I want to get on BitChute. You reminded me of saying that when you said you were a Ute.
Yeah.
But you're not a bitch Ute. You're a dude
No.
Ute. You're a dude Ute.
Yeah. Now, Ann said, amen to that, GD. Let's get him. So I'm assuming she's talking about the fact that I don't own a gun, that I'm more of a stabber. I believe in like up close and personal. And I think that's what she's giving me the okay on.
I bet you Doug Smith would probably tell you, well, in Texas, everybody has a gun, right? But Doug Smith.
I think people who own guns are cowards. Yeah.
Oh, I think, wow. So you're saying everybody, that's demeaning the whole state there.
Yeah. Because I back it up. I can prove it. Because I'm saying all, but basically, if you have a gun for protection, I got it for protection. That means you're afraid of something, so you're a coward. Okay. If you're using
wait, hold on. I'll let you finish that premise. But to be afraid of something doesn't make you a coward. To be afraid of something and hide from it and not face your fear makes you a coward. If you face your fear, you're not being cowardly, right? So
but they're not facing their fear. They got a gun to eliminate the fear. That's not facing it.
All right, that's fine. You can. I said you can continue. But
okay, and then there are people say, "Well, I got it to. I like it. I got it to hunt." I said, "Okay." The deer does not have a gun. The deer has antlers. What do you have? You have your hands and your brains. Then go ahead and face the deer mano a mano. Okay. Use the tools that God gave you, what you were born with, just like the deer is using what it was born with. Wow. Then they're not showing me. Then I'm certain you're not a coward. I hunt rabbit. Oh, that rabbit is really scary. Ooh, yeah, you got to shoot the rabbit.
Sharp teeth.
Oh yeah, well I saw Holy Grail. I did see Monty Python and Holy Grail, so I know what rabbits are capable of. Okay, but when I was 15 years old, I chased down a rabbit straight up, just straight up chased him on a $5 bet and caught him. So yeah, I won $5 because. But that's all God gave me was my speed and my brains. And I outsmarted the rabbit and I caught it, grabbed it by the scruff of the neck and I let it go. Got my $5 and let it go.
Yeah, but I think if it was me you can have like the best gun in the world. Let's say an AK-47. Me with an AK-47 versus a deer with antlers, the deer would win.
Well, that's because you probably still wouldn't shoot him. You probably still wouldn't shoot him. You go like... You probably try to feed it.
I'd run away. I think I mentioned where I got gored, but it sounds like a friggin' racehorse coming up behind you. And then before you know it, that antler is sticking right in the same place where the girl stabbed me, by the way. And I went
it's
flying.
Like revisit. The buck is like revisiting old wounds.
I went flying and this deer didn't, but I mean, he knew he stabbed me and it was like on now. And he gave me the head down, like, come on, you want some? And I said, no, I ran in the house. I don't want to. I'm not messing with Bambi. I think what you described there in Take on the Deer, Mono Dero, that is known as the Willie principle. Again,
well, I come from, and this is part of my case. I come from a people who used to hunt elephants with blow darts. Okay, not guns, and they didn't even steal. They used it, and they did it for food to feed their families. Okay. That's it.
That elephant. No. It's
little I'm sorry. Baby. And they, they may have been afraid, which is why they went out with like 5 or 6 men with blow darts and spears to bring down the elephant. But still, the elephant wasn't alone either. The elephant had other elephants with it. So it was like a gang fight. Okay. It was a fair gang fight. The elephant had his trunk and his tusk and its intelligence. And the people had their spears and their intelligence, and they went mano a mano.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah. And even if they were afraid, they faced it with what they had. They didn't use guns. Okay. So yes, you can eat and hunt without a gun. So again, for me, it's just fear. You're afraid that the deer will outdo you or do better than you if things were even.
So if you, Doug Smith is here, we're going to bring him in in just 1 minute. But I just want to say for people, if you're looking to get cash for your guns, you can drop your guns off at GD's house. It's a buyback thing that GD is doing.
No, I'm not buying back your gun. You drop off the gun, and I'll chase you off my property with my spear.
Oh, okay. Damn.
And I don't mind being called spear chucker. That doesn't bother me at all.
Whoa. Hey, I don't know why we went there. This is
if it bothered me, I wouldn't have a spear in my house. It does not bother me.
A family full of spear chuckers, but
that's so if somebody, because matter of fact, that's how the neighbors know me. They say we're looking for the Fenderson resident that says spear chucker lives down there.
All right, Doug Smith has just decided he doesn't want to be on this program after hearing us talk. I don't blame him. No, Doug Smith, MSSW, which we've gone over many times.
Making sisters so wet.
That's not what it stands for.
I'm pretty sure that's what MSSW stands for, making sisters so wet.
All right, you've already insulted him with the whole Texas.
Okay. Then it must stand for multiple sweaters, multiple summer sweaters worn.
Master social sushi workers. Master
sushi workers.
I don't know. MSSW has more than 12 years experience in mental health and justice policy as a policy expert in the Texas House of Representatives and later as a senior policy analyst for Texas Center of Justice and Equity. He has more than 8 years experience serving as an adjunct professor of social policy at the University of Texas in Austin, and Doug specializes in developing the leadership capacity of people with histories of mental illness, past trauma, or incarceration. He's here now, and he's not a Mountie.
I got it. It's Master Society of Sushi Workers.
No,
that's it. Yeah, you got it right. Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
He shoots and scores. He shoots and scores.
Yeah, we work with sea urchins at the School of Social Work at the University of Texas.
He's also the author of a book called The Path of Rocks and Thorns. Good morning, and thank you for being here. We've had a Doug Smith on the program previously, and he's a Canadian Mountie, and it was sent to me by the same publicist who represents you. And it's like, he doesn't look like, did he change his appearance? He doesn't look the same. And it took me a while. It took me almost a month to figure out it's a different Doug Smith. Hey, that's a common name.
I'm far more handsome, but
yeah,
it changed.
But not that different. Like similar enough that I thought it could be the same guy. He just changed his look a little bit. That's the thing about it.
Anne from California says, "Good morning, Doug."
Yes.
Good morning.
So last week we had a guy on who went to prison. He went to prison once. Then like years later went to prison again, and he was in his bio he's saying he learned to take responsibility and accept accountability for his actions, and then spent the whole time he was here telling us how he was persecuted and unfairly, even though he committed the crimes and called them mistakes. Your book is about people who've gone to prison and kind of found a way to use, I'm paraphrasing, and correct me if I'm wrong, found a way to use that, accept the truth about what you've done and where you come from, what your background is, and make that your superpower. Is that fair to say? Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people take that. I think anyone reading the book, right, regardless of your perspective, whether you've been to prison, whether you've had addiction, mental illness, is going to find something for themselves. I mean, the metaphor of the book is Dante's Inferno, the whole idea that you go to the deepest core of hell in order to climb again. And I think some of the themes of the book, for me, I had a pretty devastating addiction and mental illness co-occurring. And so it destroyed my career. It landed me in multiple psychiatric wards, intensive care. It was just utter devastation. And I ultimately committed 4 counts of robbery in Austin, Texas. And that landed me a 15-year sentence. I did 6 years in prison and the rest of the time on parole. So, that is in my past. In prison, you know, I think the one thing, I'm not going to recommend prison for anyone, but
I was hoping that you'd give it a 5-star review because I just need a place to go.
And I was hoping they'd be a sponsor.
You're gonna get Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
My radio show used to be brought to you by a mental health facility. Most of our guests stay at the Seaford Rehabilitation.
Oh, really? Wow. No, and you know, so for me, it was just, you know, utter subtraction. You're in prison. Single thing you cared about before is absolutely gone, and there's kind of a sense of freedom in that. And that's what I found for myself. Again, I would love to have found a different route other than prison to it, but
you found in Bobby McGee definition of freedom.
I totally appreciate your honesty about this and being upfront about it. Here, and I don't want to rehash this guy's story because I beat him up enough when he was here, but because the honesty part I think becomes an issue. His belief was he went to prison in 2007 or whatever it was for a couple of years, and he felt like if he was honest about it, and he didn't say it in the way I'm saying it, but he was saying that was something that he could not get past because they would do such severe background checks that would find out about it. No matter where he went, people would do a background check on him. And because they found out about that, that held him down and he couldn't progress in his life. So that made him continue his life of crime and do another crime several years later. And so the honesty part of it is difficult to grasp for people who've had a past like that. If you've done time, you're afraid to be honest about it because at least in his mind, he was, because he thinks there's no way that people are going to give me a second chance.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to insult your guest. Everyone's got a story of recovery, but that is kind of insulting to the millions of people who get out of prison, who grab some grit and create a path for themselves, who are honest with potential employers. I mean, it took me 5 months to find a job. When I found a job, it was $9 an hour in a warehouse. Literally had to take a bus, put my bike on the bus, and take the final 5 hours for it. And I've never been more grateful for a job. And they put me on a management track. It's just the thing that I had that a lot of people in prison didn't have is that prior to my descent, I already had my Master of Science in Social Work.
Oh, that's what that stands for.
And, you know, yeah, so I just...
I've heard it both ways, Doug. I've heard it both ways.
Sushi, science, whatever. I should have just said Master of Social Work, but I had to do a thesis, which means, hey, I get the Master of Science as well. But I already had that before I went to prison. And, you know, I will say in prison, because I was deeply into service, I taught sexual assault prevention, trying to end the cultural acceptance of sexual assault behind bars.
I have a question. I just have a question because you said prevention, which means you're trying to stop it from happening. So were you approaching the people who were doing the sexual assault, or were you approaching the people who are likely to be the recipients of the sexual assault, or was it like a class for both?
So what we were working to do was drive up the report rate. Right. It's an incredibly courageous thing to do. It's tantamount to snitching, but it's actually saying men in white, women in white, who that's what we call ourselves in Texas prison, are taking a stand. And we're asking you to treat sexual assault, whether you experience it or witness it, to treat it differently and actually report it, because that's the only way we're going to end the cultural acceptance of it. And people are going to get prosecuted, and they're going to stop doing it because people have the right to... You were sentenced to actually do time, and you have the right to actually do that time and seek out some type of rehabilitation for yourselves and not fear that you're going to be raped in your prison cell. Right. And I will tell you that we worked really hard at that. And when I got out of prison, I will tell you that a couple years after that, I looked at sexual assault report rates, and they were going up, and they've gone up every single year. Doesn't mean prison rapes are going up. Prison rape has been happening since there was prison. It means that people are taking a stand and actually reporting it when they see it. And because of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, which is a federal law, people are going to get prosecuted for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that it served me because I got to serve others. I got to learn to become an actual social worker and behind bars, and I got good at it.
I appreciate what you said about it not being true, because GD and I both commented on the fact that we know people who've been incarcerated and it did not let it hold them down from improving their life once they got out and holding really good jobs and all this stuff. But the fear.
I will say one more thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Right. In answer to anyone who holds this view that it's going to hold you back, like when I got out of prison after I found a new job, it was actually working around the Texas State Capitol, and we passed some significant pieces of legislation that expanded opportunity for people with criminal records, and employment opportunity, housing opportunity. We have one of the best occupational licensing acts in the country because they actually consider mitigating factors. They look at a person's efforts post-release before they just automatically deny you. So we worked really hard to change the climate in Texas.
Thank you for sharing that. I got to tell you, my first reaction to that is thinking Texas has kind of a reputation for being a very conservative, politically conservative state, and that seems like a very liberal type of mindset to be open to rehabilitation and improvement for what we think of as bad people.
Yeah.
So it seems like that would be a tough thing to get past, but congratulations on whether.
I just say that I think there are a number of conservatives in prison, or people who are conservatives have family members in prison, and I would like to think that they would not want those people to be raped.
Yes.
I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I could be like, the conservative thing is, no, rape him. He shouldn't have done. If you don't do the time, if you can't do the crime or whatever, So
can you go back and get your spear and come back?
I mean, I think every Texas legislator knows that I lean a bit left, and but this is about personal liberty. It's about second chances, right? It's universal values, and conservatives love it. And so if it weren't for Republicans, we wouldn't have passed those bills. And
when was this? When was this? Well, basically, was Ken Paxton there? Because maybe Ken Paxton was thinking, I'm on my way to prison. Maybe I would like to support this anti-rape thing.
Well, he's not a legislator, so he's
but he has influence. He could say to them, "Look, guys, I'm in law enforcement, kinda." And so it would help me if you
I don't think he's got a lot of friends inside the Texas House of Representatives. He maybe in the
certainly not his wife.
Oh my goodness,
boy, we've gone down a whole avenue I didn't even know existed. But coming back, and I will move on past this guest we had. But his deal was he was afraid to tell the truth, or at least this is what he's claimed, because of his past record, that he would be they would hold that against him. So the idea of being
he went to jail. So he went to jail a second time for identity fraud.
Right. But he was claiming that fear is what kept him a criminal, because he was afraid to be honest. Now your whole premise is using that honesty about your past as a authenticity piece, and I appreciate that. But that does take a degree of courage to overcome that fear of how people are going to perceive you. You got anything for people who might be in that position, thinking, I hear what he's saying, but I'm scared to death of them finding out about my past?
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to diminish his experience. It does.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, but I get it. I went to job fairs, and I talked to 98% of the employers that I talked to. When I told them about my criminal record, they were not willing to even consider my application. But that was in 2014, and we've been I'm part of a whole movement of people with criminal records who have been pushing really hard, and more and more employers are willing to consider a criminal record, and more employers are willing to consider that honesty. I have a criminal history. Here's what I've done. And more employers are willing to hear that. But I don't want to take anything away from that person's experience or anyone else who's sitting there like waiting to start their lives and turn down for 75% of the jobs that they apply to.
Now, I realize that this is not the same thing, but when I hear that kind of an attitude that they're ashamed of a past, especially a past that's based on decisions that they made. In the 90s, I was literally being refused jobs because of my color. Yes. In the 90s still.
Yes.
You know, I was applying for jobs I was qualified for and we knew it was about race because eventually we wound up taking the company to court and they like conceded. Now, okay, we had that policy and we're going to take, if you just don't sue us, all of you black people who applied for these positions, and we will promote you to those positions. Well, on paper.
I got. Well, sorry, you're fired.
Well, okay. Actually, like I said, I should maybe let me clarify this. I used to be black. Now I'm African American. Can I keep my job now?
All right, you may continue. Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not going to diminish anyone's experience. You're exactly right. Talking about criminal justice is inseparable from talking about race. So
yeah, but I'm just saying it's still that basically. And this is my philosophy is that everybody goes through some kind of crap and we can let it define us or we can shape a new us from it.
Yes.
I think that's the premise of the book or part of the ideas, one of the ideas that is prevalent in the book. And one of the things that I'm really has resonated with me is, I don't know if it's a blog piece or an excerpt from the book. In prison, there are no imposters.
Yeah.
Is that necessary to everybody knows everybody's story on the inside?
I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions, but no one's buying it. You know, no one's buying it. You're not here to hide from anyone. You don't have to hide anything about your past. And I think
unless you're short eyes. Child molesters do have to hide it because if child molesters are a different breed and they get different rules.
I was on and you're exactly right. I was actually on a unit that where there was a group of people who had committed a sexual offenses, and they created therapy groups. So they're not going to go around bragging about it, but they were leaning into their own rehabilitation. I doubt that that's true for every prison. You could definitely get beat up pretty hard for committing a sexual assault. But I happen to be on a unit where they learned to be honest about it and do something about it. And
that's great.
They weren't persecuted for it.
Now, again, I want to reiterate, we are not suggesting people go to prison as an avenue towards self-improvement. But I'm thinking...
But they should at least visit one. They should at least visit, even if they don't go.
Learn from Doug's experiences about imposter syndrome, because people in the creative arts, and this is where we are, and this is where our focus is generally, are filled with imposter syndrome and debilitating imposter syndrome sometimes. This voice in the back of your head that says you're not good enough, you're not fooling anybody, all that kind of stuff. It seems to me that experience could be empowering in a lot of ways, knowing that you can't lie to anybody. You can't fake it to anybody. People see through you, so you might as well be authentic. Can you speak to that?
I mean, the thing is, I hate the term imposter syndrome. I don't mean to diminish. A lot of people latched onto it, and it validates feelings, but I don't like to diagnose my feelings. I mean, part of the whole idea of the book is you going through hell in order to find what's on the other side. And that means you have to feel your emotions. And that means if you feel insecure, inferior, not good enough, right? To just feel it, not to diagnose it, not to make it bad. Because on the other end of that, some wisdom, that feeling might be the reason why you're successful. Or it might be your system telling you, hey, you need to work a little harder, right? Or it could just be, that's how I learned to deal with the trauma in my life, by making myself inferior. But it's the idea that feel your emotions, get to know yourself before you go diagnose it. I would say that those feelings of insecurity, that sense of imposter syndrome that I had, it utterly destroyed my career because I wasn't willing to feel it. And what I did was I drank and I used prescription drugs. And then I went on the streets to find crack cocaine. I would do anything but feel that feeling. And in prison, you can't escape from it. Just feel it. If you're sitting in your cell, you've got to feel your feelings. Unless you go get some hooch. Which
I have a question for you, and hopefully it won't sound too rambly, but this is actually beyond prison. This question, I guess, is because I noticed, like I said, leadership lessons. So it seems as though you're trying to teach people how to be mentors as well. Okay, so in my mind, to be a mentor, you have to have follow through. And so it's not like a part-time job. It's like, it's almost 24/7, even if you're being paid 24/7 to be a mentor. It's almost like you have to live a lifestyle of mentorship. Now, but if you're, let's say, 75 years old or 80 years old, and you're just getting your shit together where you can be a mentor, you don't have a lot of time to follow through. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're in your 80s, is it too late to be a mentor, or do you just say be a mentor for as long as you can for whoever you can?
I mean, I think it's one day. I always the unit that I was on was called the walls. There were 30-foot walls with bricks, and I used to think of each brick as representing some way in which someone either inside or outside had done some sort of grievous harm. And you stack them on top of each other, and you have this whole library of criminology around you. And I use that. That is my metaphor for integrity, meaning I'm going to put one brick down. Each day is a brick. Then I'm going to do another one and another one. And if I miss a day, it's going to cause the whole structure to crumble, right? So I don't care whether you've put 15 days together or 15 years together, right? It's just that intention at one day at a time. I'm going to build some integrity, and people are drawn to integrity, right? I say that honesty and freedom go together like recovery and integrity.
Yeah. We brought up freedom before. I don't know if you know this about freedom, but it's just another word for nothing left to lose.
That's exactly the theme of the book. That's it.
Yeah, but this is the word I'm looking for is shame. In coming to grips with, because again, coming back to this guy, and this didn't end well with this guy who I keep referencing, but he kept talking about mistakes. I'm not going to continue to blame myself for mistakes I made. And I'm like, mistakes, yeah, but let's be honest, let's call them what they are, and they're bad decisions. And that it's not just a mistake. I didn't stumble into selling a car by mistake. I made a conscious decision to sell stolen cars, and that's what got me in trouble. And so that's shame stops us from being honest with ourselves about some things. I'm dealing with some of this. Last night, I'm struggling with an idea that something I did 30 years ago that I can't forgive myself for. And there's this shame attached to it. Any of that you can give people advice for dropping the shame and being able to deal with it in an honest and authentic way with yourself before others?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for that self-awareness. And I mean, I think shame lives in the shadows, and the more light you place on it, right, the more you're willing to be courageous and look at it and stop judging it, recognize the humanity of it. When I coach people and we talk about things about themselves that they feel ashamed of, things that they're, if they're still holding on to it, it's going to show up in their adulthood over and over and over. I'm like, there was a time in your life when you were so harmed and so left alone that you came up with a strategy. And that strategy may have left you with shame, but it also helped you survive. And it could have been you were abused by a parent, but it's too incomprehensible for you to call your caretaker to say that they are at fault for that. And so you blame yourself because it's a threat to your whole safety and survival to think that your person in the world is against you. And so you end up taking the shame upon yourself. And so I ask people to let's look at what that little kid did to survive and have some appreciation for the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From your experience with social work, and is there, I don't know, are there techniques or strategies for overcoming, learning self-forgiveness and being able to deal with shame?
Yeah. I mean, honesty, light, storytelling. I think it's like the guest you brought on before. And again, I guess I'm, sort of reacting to what you said, but that's a story he's telling himself. And so when I teach storytelling, it's the struggle you went through and then the decision you made, right? In light of that struggle and what happened afterwards, right? It's the hero's journey, and that transforms.
Again, that guy, and take to keep your head, but that is, I think he represents a lot of people who've been incarcerated and have not accepted real responsibility, because he was he was blaming everybody from the sheriff to the prosecutors and all that stuff, and kept using the word persecuted. And I said, that's a victim mentality. I'm not calling myself a victim, but you're calling yourself persecuted. I mean, they go hand in hand. If you're persecuted, you're a victim. Yeah. But I think a lot of people who come out, and I know people who've done time, and they have a real issue with, not just, I think you have to forgive yourself first, but they still hold this idea that people were out to get me. If they were only nicer to me, if they only were more forgiving of me, and they haven't forgiven themselves yet, but they're still holding on to blaming other people. I think that's that holds you in that place where you're going to continue that life of crime, whether you really sincerely want to change. But you have to have the strength and courage to face your demons, and in an honest way with yourself, before you can do that. And I think that's the biggest challenge for a lot of people.
It's tough. Both things can be true at one time. You can be right. You can be Black, growing up in poverty and inequality, and be held back. And there can be ways. And also, it's true that being honest, taking responsibility will heal and will open up opportunities. So those two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
When I just want to read something. I'm sorry. I just want to read something from Anne in California. Hello, Anne. Anne in California writes, Doug, I relate to you. I made parole 29 years ago. What an eye-opener in life. You are amazing. We do recover. Best wishes always.
Please buy the book, Anne. How about that?
Buy the book. Buy the book, Anne.
Yeah.
No, Anne, go write your own book. Oh my God.
Anne, go write your own book.
Story.
And you can visit www.d-degree.com to read the blog and get some more beautiful insights like this stuff.
And I don't think this is a coincidence that she made parole 29 years ago. At first, I don't know I didn't know if I was reading it right. I thought it was paroli, like an Italian dish.
You know what's weird?
That was her crime. That was her crime 29 years ago. She made some paroli, and
you're obviously hungry, GD. You got sushi, parole.
Yeah, parole. That's an Italian dish. She made it 29 years ago.
I have a follow-up question with that, since we're talking about food. Are you a big fan of soda pop?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Are you from the Northeast? That's
because Big Beautiful Bill, who's in our chat room, has a place. What's the name of his soda?
Fizz Fusion with a Z. Fizz Fuzion.
It's in Round Rock, Texas. It's right around the corner from where you are right now.
Really? Oh, what's his name? I'm gonna go there.
His name is Bill Rhodes, but we call him Big Beautiful Bill, because that's what he is. He's big and he's beautiful.
And he's Bill. Right. And it's called Fizz Fuzion. Fizz Fusion.
Yeah,
and eventually flavors. They're gonna have two flavors named after. Eventually, they're gonna have two flavors named after me and Matt.
Yeah, mine is just bitter coffee. Is what it is.
And mine is gonna be some mocha brown drink. He doesn't know yet. Something brown and sweet. and sassy.
Yeah, I totally agree that two things can be true at once, but I think because you can be paranoid, but that doesn't mean people aren't out to get you.
Exactly.
But yeah, I do think there is a danger in not letting go of the victim mentality of thinking that people are always going to be out to get me, and that I am not in control of my own destiny.
You'll never be effective. Your life is just, you'll never be effective with people with that. I remember going to the parole board because, like, in my mind, I went to prison. Like, I was decent dude, but I had substance use disorder and mental illness. It got out of control, crack cocaine, and I exploded with criminal misdeeds. And so that was the story that I was holding. And I realized, like, there's something more to this. And there was some stuff I was doing that was outside of integrity long before prison. So when I went to the parole board, the parole clerk the fifth time, I just said, listen, I've been telling the story for years now, and let me tell you something. I went to prison because I committed 4 robberies, and I'm absolutely responsible for that. And I was on drugs at the time I did it, but I could have called 12 different people to come and help me. And so I'm also now responsible for my own recovery. And the parole clerk just stopped in her tracks, and she goes to her computer. She'd never done it before. And she says, "Can you repeat every word you just said to me?" And 3 weeks later, I had parole.
Wow.
Now, when you say 12 people to help, did you mean 12 people to help with your addiction or 12 people to help commit the robbery?
No, there's hundreds of people to help with my addiction. There are people I could have called who cared deeply about me and who would have come and got me. And
okay, it's just the way you phrase it. I know there's helping with the robbery, helping with the addiction, helping with the recovery. I was like, what were those 12 people helping to do?
Everything. Yep. Everything, all of it. Solution-focused, trauma-informed coaching. That's a big little phrase there. Solution-focused. I think I've worked I've had many careers other than side jobs, or day jobs that I've taken, and always in management, and always found that, quite often found that most of America's companies are run by people who are really good at spotting problems, articulating problems, and that's where it stops. Very few people actually come to it with, like, we have a problem, but I have a solution. And I have a solution type of idea. How do you get people to adopt that mind? Because I've struggled with having that speech plenty of times. Like, hey, I know about the problems. You're free to bring up problems, but don't come with a problem unless you have a solution in mind or a proposal for a beginning step towards a solution. How do you get people to adopt that solution-oriented?
Well, it's a pretty radical idea, but it's what I believe firmly is that there are no problems, right? That everyone acts from a place of positive intention. And I know that's a pretty radical idea, given that we're talking about crime and prison and all of that. But, like, if you really explore it with people, you realize, like, if you go deep, that person actually was trying to survive. They had a positive intention. So first and foremost, there are no problems. And if people want to talk about problems during my coaching calls, then I'll say to them, like, we've got 50 minutes together. So I wonder if we could take that problem that you're talking about, find a bin to put it in on a shelf, and let's have a real coaching session around solution where this isn't a problem. And at the end of it, if you want to go take that thing out of the bin again, have at it. But for this session, let's try it differently. And they generally say, yeah, that sounds great.
That is a radical idea, to suggest that there are no such thing as problems. I could see a contrarian just, like, wrestling with that concept.
Yeah, it's the idea that, like, our motivations, if you're core, like, you just take it to core. If this is the reason why I did this. Say, okay, let's say that you fulfilled that reason. What would you have? What would you have? And you just take it deep, 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 invariably what people are looking for is just peace inside of themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question about on your website. I believe it. Now, if I'm wrong or misrepresent this, please
What's
correct
that
me.
website again?
His website, www.d-degree.com.
Okay, the hyphen is important. Okay, that's fantastic.
I think if I understand correctly, it says we believe that all people are leaders.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that I quite agree with that, because it's just the nature of people that I think 10% of people are leaders and 90% of us are sheep and followers. So I was just wondering about.
Have you ever met a 2-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stubborn. That's not leading. They're belligerent. And they're testing the waters.
They have zero problem in getting people to do what they want them to do. It's a natural instinct. And my experience is like, I see leadership as far more spiritual. It's just a recognition that I'm always creating results. Always. I walk into a room a particular way. I speak a particular way. I do something. I'm always creating results. And I'm responsible for those results. And if I'm interested in creating even more effective results, then I'm going to be honest and self-reflective about that. And the more I do that, the bigger the results I get. And everyone can do that. It's just, leadership is just about being effective with other people.
Now, so what I'm hearing then is, and again, I'm not saying manipulation is a bad thing, because manipulation is a tool, just like any other thing a person might have. But like selfishness is not necessarily bad.
Like
it's
a
a matter
spear
of how you
when
use
somebody else has a gun. It's the tool. I'm sorry.
So I'm just saying. So I don't think selfishness and manipulation are inherently bad. It's how you use them. So when you're saying a 2-year-old can get you to do what they want, it's a lot of it's manipulation and bribery and just trying to wear you down, like screaming until you say, all right, you can have the damn cookie, just let me sleep. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like that, but they're wired to get their needs met. Right? Babies cry. The 2-year-olds say no. They're obstinate.
But
right? Like
if you don't outgrow
that,
and channel it some other way, you wind up being a president who just whines and cries and threatens until he gets what he wants.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I could say a lot, but it's always about like learning to be more effective with people. Right? Like, I don't care where you are. You could be the janitor of the school, but when you're responsible for the results you're producing, like you create environments, you create culture. You do breathtaking things. It's just, I'm curious about what my results are, and I'm willing to be responsible for what they are.
So I think the caveat then is everyone's a leader if they can take their power of manipulation and be responsible for the results.
Well, yeah.
This seems like there's a caveat, but you know what I'm saying? Because otherwise you can manipulate people, get things done, and not take responsibility for it. Like, let's say, like a president of the United States or something like that. You just manipulate people, get what you want. But when things don't go right, it's like, you have to talk to my attorneys. I have no idea what you're talking about. I was never informed of that. That's not leadership.
It's boring. But it's like the people I work with, right? They're people who have like moved past. They've had trauma, incarceration, mental illness, substance use disorder, and their whole thing is they're trying to do magnificent things in the world. And if they come across as like strident, obnoxious, a jerk, they're not going to get it done. Right. Yeah. And so I'm just asking them to say, hey, you could be a jerk all day long. If it's getting your results, then great. Right. I'm going to tell you that it's not. Right. And I think it's not. So just be responsible for what you're doing and the result you're creating.
If I may, my take on, and it's kind of silly to just hop on this one line that everybody is a leader, but I think you can't force people to follow you. Leadership comes from people wanting to follow you, which is a difficult thing in the first place. But in my case, and I don't expect you to psychoanalyze me and fix what's broken in me, and it's probably too late. And I'm not going to be in a corporate or a business environment other than my own. But when I was in lots of positions, I would get promoted to leadership positions against my will. In other words, people saw I was being really effective at my job. Oh, he'd be a really good supervisor. He'd be a really good director of this. And I didn't want it. I couldn't stand the responsibility. It was so much pressure being responsible for people's futures and people who were under me in the corporation of where their careers were going. That was, to me, it always felt like a prison of its own. And I don't mean to belittle real prisons, but that's what it felt like to me. It was an unfair burden and I always got burnt out. A couple of years in, I would have a breakdown because I could not stand that extra responsibility of leadership. So everybody's a leader. Even people who don't want to be can be forced into leadership. Like I wanted nothing more than to just do my job. I didn't want to be a leader. Right?
I mean, I think that people do things. So I'm not going to suggest like you wanted to seek out leadership. I will suggest that you are doing some clear things that made people in your life say, man, that guy needs to be in charge.
Yeah.
Right? And you were doing that
I
over
think
and over again.
I think it was threats of violence. I think it was threats of violence that said he needs to be in charge or he's going to choke us.
But yeah, and the other part of this, and again, I'm not asking you to psychoanalyze.
Because he's a huge, intimidating man. He's like 6'9". Used to. Now he's like, because of the age, his spine has shrunk to like 6'1". Yeah. But he used to be like 6'9". He used to have muscles out the
looks like turtles, which is a throwback to yesterday, which we don't have to. But in defense of the people who promoted me against my will, I had this attitude that I always knew more than the people who were in charge, and was very vocal about it. Like, you're doing this all, and constantly arguing for a better way, coming with solutions or proposed solutions for lots of things. And they saw that as leadership capabilities, even though it was like subconsciously working against my own desire to not be in the leadership pile, always coming up with, here's how we fix all these things that we're doing the wrong way. So I understand why they promoted me, but once I got there, I I should have just let them run this thing into the ground. I was much more happy just doing my job every day. So that part.
I mean, I guess I'm, the one thing I'm not buying is I work with people all the time who do exactly that. They can say all day long what's wrong, and no one's listening, right? They're just not. And then you meet someone where they are listening, and there's a reason why they are listening, and it's not because you're 6'9", right? It's because probably the ideas that you have were spot on. That's it, and the idea you have is spot on.
Yeah, well, they were good, and they were well thought out and articulated, and like I would not just like fly off the handle and say, "Oh, we're doing everything all wrong here." I would think about it all night long, write down my ideas, go in with a proposed solution of how we should address the issues that we're facing. And but in the back of my mind, I was kind of resentful of the idiots that were promoted to these positions, but I didn't really want them to be fired. I wanted to use them as cover so I could come to the job every day, get paid as much as they did, do my job well, and just hopefully they would implement the solutions rather than me having to be. That was the number one. And I am psychoanalyzing myself, but I didn't mind having that, being in that position, as long as I didn't have to worry about, because when there were layoffs, I took that personally. Like when my first day at Cablevision, I was told we never had a layoff in 38 years when we had the company. And so everybody I hired, I gave them that speech. We've never had a layoff. 2 years later, I was laying off 800 people. And I was devastated by just the idea that I promised these people they would never get laid off. They had a job for 30 years, a career job. And now here I am laying them off. And that felt like, man, I'm a bad guy. That's shame. So
yeah, I would not want to be in that position.
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
but they still wanted you in charge. Normally, I'm just going to tell you, like, if someone sends me like a page and a half well thought out email complaining about stuff and saying how it's going to be different, needs to be different, I'm putting that person in charge of it, right? I'm going to call you bluff. I'm going to say, okay, great. You sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. Just one more thing before, and we'll put you out of your misery for this terrible.
This has been great. No, it's good.
your book, the Path of Rocks and Thorns, it is genre-wise, it's different. It's a difficult thing for me to put into a box. It's a self-help book for business, and we get. Maybe I'm characterizing that wrong, and if I am, you can correct me on that. But you don't see a lot of self-help books. They're either really about just fixing what's wrong with you personally, doing a deep dive into your own mentality and psychology and all that, or you have leadership books, which are, aside from that, using principles that you may have learned from your self-help books. But we don't see anything that is a combined self-help book, business leadership book. This is kind of unique in its do you have a different way of describing it other than the way I just did?
I mean, the thing is that I also had some trouble describing it, but it was just like it actually started out as a lark. I read Jocko Willink's, the Navy SEAL Extreme Ownership book, where like he describes a Navy SEAL operation that went wrong, and he as a commander has to take full responsibility for it, and then he applies it to business. And I was like, this is a good book, and I could do that. I could write a book about lessons that I learned in leadership from prison, and then how I applied it. I could make it a pure leadership book like that. But the thing is, it actually caused me to have to reckon with my own past. Right, the shame I had, the traumas that I've experienced, the mental illness. It just forced me to do that. So there was like, if I was going to complete it, I actually had to walk through my own journey of hell. And so I think I call it's a memoir disguised as a leadership book. But I do think that people who are looking for like authentic ideas about leadership and how to reclaim your career after pure destruction, they're going to really like the book.
The reason I asked is last night I had a healer who is now a turned author, and we were talking about the difficulty in marketing books, and big part of it is presenting the book to people who are your demographic audience, and it becomes difficult when with something like this. I don't know if things can be in two different sections of the bookstore or two different sections of Amazon, two different categories and all that stuff. It makes it more difficult if you can't put it in a box and give it.
That's when you get your own end cap. That's when you get your own end cap right next to the register.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
Well, I tell you what, this is my first book, and I'm going to make some mistakes in marketing, I have a feeling, and hopefully I'll be on top of that. And, it's not too late to communicate better about what the book is. And
what about prison libraries? Is it like where you were educated in where you were set free? Is there a prison library there that book could be of service or be used there? Or
I hope it winds up there. I'm not always kind to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in my book, and they do have censors. So who knows whether it'll make it through the censors or not. But I do hope that I do think that people behind bars are going to embrace the book if it could get through the censors.
www.d-degree.com. Just lastly, before
I'm sorry, Matt. One more thing before you
one more thing before you. One more thing.
Okay, one more thing before you.
One more thing first.
Okay, could you, because I think a lot of people in prison have access to things online, could you make that book available, let's say in an online version, so that even if the prison itself doesn't say they could have it, they could actually go online, and it could be literally for people who are incarcerated. That section, I don't even know how you would set that up, because I just like to present problems. I have no solutions whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, as I say to legislators asking me questions, I say, when I don't know the answer, I'll say, I'll get right back to you. So
okay.
I'll look into that.
2 weeks. Yeah, well, I was going to ask you, is it available on audiobook, which is similar to what he just asked about it being on in digital ebook format. Do you have an audiobook out for it?
That's a thing. I had no idea. That takes about 4 or 5 months to produce. So I'm only now. I'm working with some folks, and they're tutoring me through it. They sent me equipment. That is a long process. I had no idea. So the audiobook will come out.
I think they make it more complicated than it has to be. I mean, it's really having a guy with a good voice or a woman with a good voice in front of a microphone and an editing program, and basically that, and as somebody to listen and say, okay, that was good, but it's not as they make it seem like it's like sending a man to the moon or something. It's not that difficult.
And you have a pleasant enough voice that you could probably have a pleasant enough voice, and if you have how should I put it? It's hard work because you want to keep your voice consistent.
Yes.
But your voice is a pleasant enough voice that if you can keep it consistent and not hoarse, like get to a point where you're like, and now chapter 6.
Speaking of voice, when you were in prison, did you tell them you were a Mountie? Because they don't like that.
Oh, no, that would have got me beat up, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, hopefully, at some point, we'll be able to introduce you to Doug the Mountie. Doug.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, someone whose job it is to arrest people and show him the kinder, gentler way to do it.
He's a former Mountie. He's now an author. So
he can still make a citizen's arrest.
Doug Author versus Doug Author program. I don't know. Anyway, It's been a pleasure to have you. We support the book, and we hope people will get it, and we'll read it and tell people about it. So that's all best we can do. Thank you for being part of this conversation in the show. We really appreciate it, and hopefully. You'll see some benefit, some people who are interested in the book and your leadership programs and all you do. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of the program.
Thank you both. This has been great. I appreciate y'all.
Have a great day. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye. Doug Smith, folks, www.d-degree.com. Pretty interesting guy and pretty interesting subject matter there.
I think he should form a partnership with the deodorant company.
I'm thinking you know what? Not to blow smoke up your brown ass, but you do have a good morning. You have a quality to your voice that would be good. I think we should start GD's audiobook production.
Well, let's start off small. How about greeting cards? How about we just do because I'm not sure that I'm cut out to do like more than 4 minutes at a time.
That's true.
So we'll start off with the Coffee with the Dog audio greeting cards.
I've heard you read your own work, and it's been. But I think rehearsed that's the problem with you doing ebooks. You'd have to rehearse each chapter. And then
that's not a problem. As long as I didn't have to read it. If someone could read it for me so that I could know what it's supposed to sound like, and then I could do it. No.
Maybe you're a little bit psychic too. I don't know. But Abby just reached out to me. Can I call her now? I'm like, I do a show in the morning. I do it. But I will reach out.
Well, if you want to call her and put it on live, go ahead. Or I could. If you think the phone call is going to last more than 30 seconds, I can vamp.
No, I'll. I'm not going to do that because I'd have to put the phone thing through the system, and she doesn't want to be put on the air. She wants to discuss business, which who knows what that comes. President Mike. King Mike. King Mike is
Mike Kaufman, because we've had a lot of Mikes on the show.
He just turned. I don't know if he's comfortable with me saying this, but he's 66 years old. He just turned 66 on the 4th of July. Born on the 4th of July. He's a Yankee Doodle dandy. And he's still doing all it, running and bicycling. And he's like superhero. I have a difficult time getting out of this chair. Never mind. I could never go run 5K or whatever the hell he's doing. Bike 5K and swim. Here's a story about Colonel Mike. President Mike, King Mike. One time we took my pool raft to go across the Great South Bay. And I don't know if you know this about the Great South Bay, but they call it great for a reason. It's fucking huge. And we were going from Copake, Tanner Park over to Gilgo Beach, Garbage Cove. And we had this asshole Glenn who was just yapping. You talk too much. He worried me to death. He was just talking and talking and drove Mike crazy. Mike got out and swam the whole fucking distance and pulled the raft. And that's a fucking hero. That's a fucking hero, because I could swim 10 feet and then I would drown. But it was a lifeguard, so he had that training. But he a pool raft in basically ocean water, which was kind of calmed down a little bit by the bay, but it was still like, so he's always been a hero. Let's just stand up and salute Colonel Mike, President Mike, General Mike, whatever. Great guy. Anyway, yeah. So what else were we talking about? I forgot what we were talking about.
You were talking about Abby and
oh yeah, Abby. So she wants to talk business, and I wouldn't put her on the phone for on the program for talking business. But here's the thing: she wants to talk business. Everything that I kind of want to do with Sticks and Stones, she gives me a yes, but doesn't follow through on. And now,
maybe she's about to give you a follow through as opposed to a yes. Maybe she's like,
on the Jackie thing that I brought up a year ago. Like I want Jackie.
Yeah, maybe she's ready to follow through on that. Maybe because I mean, maybe the things that you're suggesting were like she liked the ideas, but she wasn't in a position to do them the right way. And now she's in a position to do it the right way, so she's reaching back out to you. I have no idea. I'm just pulling this out of my ass.
Yeah,
and now I need to wash my hands.
I know you could, because I could tell it had a little ass smell to it. But
it's not coming up roses.
I know what she wants. She wants to talk about her podcast. She recorded like 4 episodes of podcast with this kid who, for some reason, didn't get all the technical stuff right. Like it's missing the 2-shot, the wide shot of both.
And it's missing volume, and it's missing words, and it's missing
all that stuff. And she's asking for my help. Now, I did offer help a month and a half ago because I had some free time. But that's what she wants to know, if I could follow up on and help her get this thing launched. And there's no way if she's listening, and she's not listening because she wouldn't be calling if she was listening. But for anybody, there's no way you can fix stuff that is that where you're missing a 2-shot, you're missing audio and stuff. You're not going to fix that and somehow make it seem professional. You just can't. You got to do it.
You can't like AI the other face. I'm just teasing. I you know me and AI. I do not like AI.
But to be fair, you probably could jimmy something like that together, like to fake a 2-shot or whatever to break it. Like
even if they don't have to speak, you could do AI reaction shots like.
But yeah, so you're right. But I think that would take longer than just doing the interview over again with the 3 cameras set up, recording. Everybody hit the record button. You got the record button. You got the record button. All right. Now we know everybody.
Which one is the record button? Yeah. Is that the red circle? Or is that the one that says REC? Because I thought that stood for receiving. What?
Yes, that's so basically. I'm not looking forward to this phone call. She wants to, but I got. It's one of those things where you got to keep that bridge. You can't burn that bridge down. You got to keep that bridge down. At least till
how else are you going to get all of your friends like me into Sticks and Stones to perform? If you don't kiss up and suck up a little bit. Come on, man. Bite the bullet for your friends.
All right.
Do we ask much from you? Do we ever ask anything much from you except for everything? Other than everything, do we ever ask anything from you?
Well, I will bite the bullet, except I haven't got the FBI for ballistics report yet. I don't know how many bullets were actually I got a bite.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. All right. We have no guests for tomorrow, and I don't know what to.
Well,
Ron Kane will be here, right? Or will he not?
Yeah, it's funny. He did a TikTok thing, and it was one of the funnier ones I've seen him do. It's actually him performing, but he's doing some crowd work. Now, the crowd work itself, he didn't say anything particularly original, but it was the placement of the things that he said that was actually funny. He was doing a bit that I'd seen him before, and he's refined it somewhat. Basically, it's about him and his wife shopping in a brick and mortar store as opposed to shopping online.
Sounds like you said jerk and mortar store. You said brick and mortar store, but
brick and mortar store as opposed to shopping online. And so this one guy is in the audience. He starts interacting with Ron, and Ron is interacting back. And I think at one point Ron says to the guy something like, well, and I know you're just gonna, leave here. You're gonna go home and have sex with your wife, blah blah blah. And then Ron goes, oh, well, when I leave here, I'm gonna have sex with my wife too. Except I'm gonna be thinking of you when I do it. So, and again, there's nothing original about that. It's like I've used that kind of line many times, but it was the placement of it where it belonged, and everybody he gets this humongous pouring of affection and laughter from the audience with that line.
I saw a clip of Ron. I didn't. I had the sound off, so I was working, and I thought, "What? There's Ron Kane." He looked like he kind of. So I'm gonna sound like a dick for saying this, but it looked like he kind of cleaned up a little. Like he was looking preppy. I don't know, preppy. He looked like not the Ron
gruff?
Kane. Not the Ron who you see him walking and he's duck into the alley to avoid. Just like a guy you'd want to, hey, how you doing, and shake his hand.
Not the Ron that you expect to see him on the subway rubbing up against people on the train. Yeah. Not that Ron.
Yeah. And it occurs to me that the guy who was interacting with the audience member has not seen this program, because the last thing I ever want to do is to interact with Ron Kane one-on-one like that. I mean, I don't even open his fucking text. I'm scared of him. Who knows?
No, I don't either. I wait to see if you open it.
I wait. To be honest, I will wait to see you and Steven react to it, and I know if it was any.
Well, you ain't got to worry about me reacting, because I'm not opening it. I'm waiting for you and Steven to react.
All right.
So now we know two people who don't open it, because each one is waiting for the other one to be the first one to open it.
That's true. You know what? Go to Dubby, you folks. I want to tell you, you got to start supporting the program, or you know what? I'm gonna pull the plug on the whole thing. I'm doing a Trump right now. I'm being mad at our supporters, and my patience is running thin. Here you go. Get Dubby. Dubby.
I'm gonna put a tariff. I'm gonna put a tariff on you if you don't start buying Dubby.
That's right. You know what? Let's talk about Columbia University.
Okay.
I'm confused by this, and I'm not a bright man. We know that.
Is that the people that have the record company, or is that the people that
I still owe them from when I got the 12 albums for a penny? No, Columbia University has agreed to pay $210 million to Trump or to the White House, to the whatever administration, but in order to resume federal funding. So they're paying a bribe to the government to send them more money. First, they have to pay them $210 million in order to start getting their.
Now, are they sending the money to like the Trump Library, or to because some of them are doing that? And when you send money to the library, that is a direct bribe. Okay, that's a bribe. It's a fucking bribe.
I don't know how they're doing it, but it just seems weird that. All right, it seems like a Ponzi scheme. You're asking Columbia to pay $210 million so they can get $210 million out of the government. That they break even. And why would they do that?
Well, the GOP does this a lot, a whole fucking lot. This is okay. They'll have an industry. Let's say fossil fuel. Okay, and they say, okay, we are going to give you $900 billion in tax cuts. And in turn, you give us $1 billion in campaign donations. So they're giving them money. They're giving them our money so they can get a part of it back for their campaigns, their campaign coffers. They've been doing this, and they probably do it better than anybody. But of course, there's only 4 parties, but two of those 4 don't have the influence to do that. The Libertarians and the Greens, but the Democrats can do that. I don't think they'd do it as well, because if they did, they'd be in better shape.
Yeah. Are you familiar with this Kennedy Center's thing?
I know that Trump has taken it over, and that there are people who don't want to perform there, and he's getting acts like Kid Rock performs Madam Butterfly and stuff like that.
Last night, the House Republicans voted to rename the Kennedy Center the Melania Trump Center for the Performing Arts. That dead silence you're hearing is the sound of America saying, "What the fuck?"
Right.
Yeah, like what has she ever done for public service at all?
Oh, she'd be
Ever?
best. She'd be best.
She did be best. Be
Yeah,
best.
she'd be best.
There's a Kyle Kalinske did a expose on this guy who.
I think Trump is still trying to get back into Melania's pants, and he's like doing any fucking thing he can to do it. It's like she wouldn't even hold his fucking hand in public. I mean, this man, he's been rejected by his parents, rejected by 3 wives, rejected by his kids, he has no friends to reject him. He has people who want to be near the stench of his influence. But the man's a fucking loser. I mean, what? I don't understand why people can just back. He's a loser who fails upward.
Yeah.
He's one of those losers. He just fails upward, and which is so pathetic.
Look at that little overlay thing. I'm loving it. But
it's active. No, it's not one of the ones you can actually click on and do it. It's a reminder.
Yeah, it's just a reminder. But Kalinske was talking about, he's got this whole thing about, and I forget the guy's name. I can't remember. It's something with an L. But he's the guy who introduced Trump to Melania, and they were part of this whole Epstein thing. She was a total, a whore. That's the word I want. She was a total whore. Basically, just brought her on as like enticement for these billionaires. She wasn't underage. But this is her background, and Trump made up this whole some genius visa or something.
Right, the Einstein visa thing.
Yeah, she was no way qualified for that, and just to bring her and her family over, but it was just a way for him to get a pussy. That was it.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's what she's done in order. That's her contribution. You can say, well, she came up with "be best," which she didn't really.
Well, I think those. Okay, in all fairness, those 2 words did exist before she put them together, but but you had to put them together and have the accent.
Yeah.
The illusion of the broken English is what sells it.
You think his health secretary or whatever the fuck he is, Health and Human Services secretary,
Junior?
No, Kennedy. Yeah, RFK
Junior.
Yeah, you think he's okay with this idea? Because this is his family's legacy. It's part of, the Kennedy.
He doesn't give a shit about legacy. The man's he's a fucking idiot. Okay, no, he's not an idiot. He's an idiot.
How do I get
he's an ambitious.
Rename it to Napo Center for the.
He's an ambitious idiot. Ambitious, narcissistic idiot. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about his family's legacy. If he did, he would not be doing the shit he does now.
Yeah.
If he cared about his family legacy, because now I'm not saying that you have to buy into everything your family does or did. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if you actually care about your family legacy, you don't fuck it up. Okay, you can do your own thing, be successful at it without tearing down your family.
Yeah, and to be honest, his family is not supportive of what he does, what he's been doing. So there's that. But it just seems to me like I would be extremely annoyed that if my family has had this thing that is part of their namesake for 60 years now, and now you want to change it to her. I mean, couldn't you, if you were going to change it, couldn't you find somebody worthy of changing it to? This just seemed like I'm desperate. I can't get any pussy from anybody. I can't even buy pussy from like porn stars anymore. My wife won't fuck me.
I can't even get my daughter to sleep with me anymore.
Yeah, it's just it's a very sad state of affairs that we find ourselves in. But on the RFK Jr. thing, have you heard the nonsense that Ozzy died suddenly after being vaccinated? Ozzy Osbourne died suddenly.
Oh, I thought he meant Ozzy and Harriet. That's how recent that seemed. That's how up to date that seemed.
So basically, anybody who dies, if they're famous at all, if you die, Theo from Cosby Kids, whatever, everybody who dies, they want to somehow attribute it to, well, he got vaccinated. Ozzy was sick long before COVID came around. He had Parkinson's or whatever.
And that was the whole point behind him doing this concert, his last concert, the last hurrah. He wanted to say goodbye to people because he knew that he was dying,
right?
Probably from the vaccination.
Yeah, it wasn't died suddenly after. But let's take a tally of how many people lived suddenly after getting vaccinated.
oh, I'm not sure that's fair. I'm not sure that you using logic and reason is fair. I think you're fighting dirty when you do that, Matt.
What cult are you guys with?
Well,
the cult of Brittany Fenty is a dumb whore. That's our cult.
Now, Brittany, I would never call you dumb. I'm sorry. I apologize to Matt. Matt, we have no idea. First of all, the expression "when do we drink the Kool-Aid" is not. It's based on a lie. It's based on a lie.
Yeah, it's not a Hitler mustache. It is a
Himmler.
Himmler mustache. That just proves what a dumb fucking bitch you are.
See, and again, I would not call you dumb. I would just call you misinformed. You probably just could not tell the subtleties between the difference between a Himmler mustache and a Hitler mustache. Yeah. I don't blame you. I blame the education system. We have failed you. Yeah. We have failed you, Brittany.
We are, and we don't drink Kool-Aid. We drink Dubby, which is made from water and an energy drink, and you can get it. Go ahead.
And I drink Good Brew with my water. Good Brew. The probiotics that your body needs to pass good gas. Good Brew.
Let me just comment for this goes out to our friend Brittany, our good friend Brittany, who's been a fan for at least ever. But Brittany, this goes.
You know what? I'm glad you got ass raped in fucking prison. You're a fucking dick. Get the fuck off my program, you dick face asshole.
So I've been learning to control my voice. I don't know if you're aware, but I've been working with without a dummy. Well, I can get Brittany to be my dummy. Anyway, so.
The opinions expressed in the show are those of. Oh, that was the host. That's right. Never mind. I can't even use the disclaimer.
Yeah. I could be nice to people who don't come in and flamethrowing in a chat room, hiding behind fucking. I'm nice to people every day. Listen, I think I do more, and I think there's plenty of evidence. I do more for humanity than most of the people that you would ever know. Jesus loves me, does he?
I don't understand the cult reference. I don't understand the cult reference. I didn't know that we were displaying cult qualities.
I don't worship even Space Jesus or whatever. Space Jesus, I don't even know what that is.
I think that's Jesus.
I don't worship anybody or anything, to be honest with you. Nothing is. I think you hung up on a clown from the '60s. There's no evidence to me that Jesus ever really existed. I don't see anything outside of the book that is written by people who have an agenda to pass that idea. I don't see any. You can worship whatever you want. I'm not worshiping anything. Worship my time on this planet, which is limited and too much to waste it conversing with trolls.
And to paraphrase somebody, I don't worship anyone. I have a warship, and I have war on things that are unjust. A warship, not a worship or worship against injustice.
I can never get that. Injustice.
Yeah, it's learned. It's funny because like I said, I used to be a minister, and when you're in ministerial school, they teach you things like that, how to the theatrics is like the last course before they won't even ordain you if you cannot pass the theatrics.
Yeah,
part of the course. I mean, because anybody can learn scripture. Anybody can learn scripture. Anybody can learn to deliver a homily or perform a wedding or a service or a funeral. But you got to have the extra.
Joe Lavoie, the Mighty Clouds of Joy. He was so good at that. I mean, Mighty Clouds. Yeah.
If I keep squeezing it, it's going to explode.
I don't that's kind of soft for an explode. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, Brittany, we thank you for your adding a comment in Kick. Like, who the fuck is on Kick, really? I mean, I don't mean to.
Well, none of the 10 interactions we get from Kick are those people who are trying to sell us viewers. And
I think she's the only person on Kick who's not selling us viewers, right?
Yes, and we appreciate that. I appreciate that. I sincerely do, because I honestly thought, because I'm not on Kick, and I thought it was just full of people trying to sell viewers and make us join Discord. And so I thank you for at least being a genuine person, and it means a lot to me.
Do we need more streaming services at this point? We're not even broadcasting the BitChute yet.
Do we have room to do we have to drop somebody to be on BitChute, or is there room for a BitChute thing?
I just got to call up Ray and say, get your people, you have
to play the Rays card.
Yeah. Even Space Jesus.
And I'm going to keep saying that until it's funny.
I got to look up Space Jesus. I didn't even know there is a Space Jesus. I'm not sure.
Well, the Space Jesus could be go along with the was it the pasta god, the pasta noodle, the spaghetti god, that thing, the spaghetti monster in the sky. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think so. It could be Space Jesus, the spaghetti monster, or, and we never thought about this, maybe she's like on another level here. But Jesus was a Jew. And the Jewish space lasers have to be operated by somebody. So maybe Space Jesus is the Jew that's in the sky that's operating the Jewish space lasers.
Now, on Reddit the other day, and I get these to my Gmail account, Reddit. I don't know why. I never signed up for Reddit, but I get these notifications from Reddit that somebody said, Jesus wasn't a Jew. Why do people insist that he was? And that just sounds to me like probably a guy who just doesn't like Jews and wants to be a Jesus worshiper and doesn't like the fact that he's being told to worship a Jew or something. But I don't know where that came from. How do you even make the claim that he wasn't a Jew?
You have to pull that out of your ass, because I could see people having the debate on whether or not he was black or not. I could see them having the debate on, but whether or not he was 5'6" or 5'2",
or 33 or 34,
right? Or whether or not he had webbed feet and that's why he could walk on water. I could see those debates, but the Jew thing, that's pretty well established.
Wait, so you tell me the difference between Jesus and a turtle is the webbed feet?
It could be. Jesus may not be he could be a tortoise or he could be a turtle.
I learned something every day on this program, and I don't know what it is. So yeah, we're good to Brittany Fenty. I hope she's not related to Paul Fenty. That would really break my heart.
Or fentanyl.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should wrap this up. We don't have a guest tomorrow. I should try to find a guest for tomorrow. I think I'll do that.
Brittany, if you want to be a guest tomorrow, you're welcome to show.
Yeah,
Actually, you may have left.
You may want to come on and call us cult members or whatever, but you've seen that I can be pretty rude to people. But I don't mind being rude to you. If you want to come on, write to me at info@minddogtv.com and tell me you want to be on tomorrow. I'll send you a link. You can come join us face-to-face and see how you back up your little trolling game with a face, if you want to do that, Brittany. Yeah, so that's a show for you, right? Are you happy with the show that we've had here today?
I think I have 4 things that I'll probably try to make shorts out of. Maybe 5 now, if there's something I can salvage from the Britney thing, the whole Britney Fenty encounter.
Free Britney, remember that whole Free Britney movement?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that meant Britney the whore.
Spears, right?
No, Britney the whore was you didn't have to pay for that. It was
okay, yeah.
Buy one get one
discount prices.
Yeah. It looks like she's gone silent on us. So I guess
Well, she was saying she's and then you can be nicer to. Oh, anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Love you all. And then she made 3 more comments after that. Even Mean Gandhi. I think she calls you Mean Gandhi.
I don't mind the Gandhi reference there. I mean, Gandhi was kind of a good guy, right? Wasn't he?
Except for the pedophilia, right?
He wasn't.
I don't know. You'd have to get. I'd have to. If you want to wait 30 seconds, I will Google, was Gandhi a pedophile?
Go ahead, Google it or grok it.
Gandhi. Gandhi. Yep, I spelled it right.
That's a difficult thing to spell, isn't it?
Now, is it pedophile? Which file are we looking for?
I just file them all down.
PEDI file? Or is it PEDO file?
I just don't know. I'm not an expert on the spelling of words I rarely use.
Okay, I'm gonna put pedophile and see what happens.
Ask Stephen how he spells it, because he's our resident.
Okay, according to Vice, it says Gandhi was a racist who forced young girls to sleep in bed.
Really? That fucking dirty old man.
This is according to Vice.com.
Oh, and they should know about Vices, right?
In August 2012, just before India's 65th Independence Day, Outlook India, one of the country's most widely circulated print magazines, published the results of a blockbuster poll it had conducted with its readership, who, after the Mahatma, was the greatest Indian to have walked the country's soil. The Mahatma at the center of this swarmy question was, of course, Mohandas. Okay, yeah, we got that. There's nothing surprising about the fact that blah, blah, blah. We've come to know him as this frail, nobly malnourished old man with a purely moral, pious soul. He's the guy who ushered in a new grammar, blah, 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 blah. Come on now.
Yes, it's a yes or no question, Grok.
Right.
Google, whatever. I grokked it, and here's what Grok had to say.
Hey, Grok here. Go fuck yourself.
That's pretty much a yes or no answer. And I'll take that as a no. Well, thanks anyway.
Maybe I should ask Snopes. I should go to Snopes and ask Snopes.
We went to India with the company that I work for, which is a hair and beauty company in the United States, and they wanted to open up an Indian version of this hair and beauty company in India. So we went there, and the CEO of the company I was working for was a woman, probably in her 50s at the time, and she woke up 4 times with Indian gentlemen. I use that phrase very loosely. In her hotel room, even though she had doors locked, they would find their way into waking up in the middle of the room, and there's some strange Indian guy in you. Apparently, I'm not brushing the whole country with this brush, but a lot of pervy men, or assuming, oh, we got a white woman from America here, let's take advantage of her and break into a hotel room. A lot of that going on in India. So I'm not also that surprised that maybe Gandhi was kind of not in control of his own sexual urges there. It seems like the men there think they're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We just lost a whole 7 billion fucking people. Just bailed on us just like that.
Snopes does not have any results about whether or not Gandhi was a pedophile. So I do know that like I said, I've heard it many times, and I've heard it from so-called reputable people, but I don't know about their reputable sources, whether or not their sources are reputable.
I can do a very good Gandhi accent. I don't know. Welcome to 7-Eleven. I'm sorry, that's fucked up. Customer support, Gandhi here. Boy, I'm in trouble. I'm being a racist pig. Have you ever noticed that about me? I don't know if you noticed about me.
I think you're giving pigs a bad name.
Yes. All right, let's wrap this up.
Okay, here it is. This is called Fact Checked. 4 myths about Mahatma Gandhi.
Myth?
No, I don't agree. Don't collect my data. Okay, was Gandhi friends with Adolf Hitler? Well, I don't think so. I'm not going to read that one. Is it true? He wrote, no, I don't care about that. I want to find out about the children. I don't care about I don't care about his being a racist, because I think he probably was a little bit racist. But that's okay. I don't care. Did he ever meet the Dalai Lama? I don't care. Did Gandhi sleep naked with women? Again, I'm talking about children. I'm not talking about women. I don't care about the no, I don't have an answer for it. Okay, children, this is your home assignment. Find out if Mahatma Gandhi was a pedophile and let us know.
Yeah, I never heard about. I know you weren't interested in this, but the friendship with Hitler. I would just say that nobody was friends with Hitler, even if they thought they were friends with Hitler. Hitler he didn't have friends. I mean, not in the true sense of friends, somebody you care about. He cared about himself. That narcissism is what drives people like that. They don't fucking care about other people.
And also, I think you buy 1 or 2 paintings from a person, and then all of a sudden people think you're friends. Yeah. You know, like I bought like 1 or 2. I bought 2 of your paintings, and everybody just assumed that we're friends. It's like, no, I bought your paintings because I appreciate art.
And in the last week, I've had several gig opportunities come my way, and they start with the pitch, "Don't worry, they hate Trump." This is how people approach me now about gig opportunities. Are you available for a wedding on such and such date? Don't worry, they hate Trump. I guess my reputation precedes me.
I don't get any offers like that. Nobody offers me anything. I have to. I don't want to mention this guy by name because he's like a very prominent comedian and very influential comedian in my area. So I'm not going to mention Michael Coachella by name. I wouldn't do that. But he had disrespected me a while ago, and he did it in a very disrespectful way.
Disrespected in a disrespectful way.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And so I met him. I had a face-to-face with him, and I called him out on it. And he so-called apologized and gave me his phone number. Texted to me. So it is really his phone number because he texted to me from his phone. I watched him text it to me, and he says, I want to have you on one of my shows. So there's a venue like a couple of minutes from my house. It's a bar, but they have live shows there, and they have a stage, and they used to do comedy there, and he used to run the comedy section, and it stopped. Well, they're bringing it back, and they said that he's going to be running it. So I reached out to him, and I reminded him that you said you want to have me on one of your shows. I said, I'm not asking you for an opportunity to headline. I said, you don't know me that well, but I said, but I'm willing to do some spots or feature or whatever. I said, Stables is returning to comedy. They said that you're going to be running it. And I reached out to him. It's been 2 weeks. He didn't even respond to my text.
Well, he's coming to the nursing home to do walk around with me tomorrow to check me out, singing to old people in their bedroom.
His whole thing was that he says, I'm not a dick. Ask anybody I'm not a dick. I said, no. He says, I've never been called a dick. I said, that's not true. I called you a dick. So if no one else would do it, and I called him a dick to his face.
I'm pretty sure everybody on the planet has been called a dick at one time. Even the baby that was just born 3 minutes ago has been called a dick by now.
Well, I think that's a dick byproduct. He's not old. He's just a dick byproduct. He's not old enough to be a dick yet. He has to wait till he's 2.
All right. In the name of dicks, I remind everybody that we won't have a guest tomorrow unless I get a guest for tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow to find out if I got a guest or if we have no guest, or if Brittany wants to be a guest, which she's already left, so she doesn't want to be a guest. She doesn't even want to know me because she's afraid of Gandhi. She's got Gandhi phobia and Himmler-phobia. But in the meantime, do not forget
to turn on your radio.
I forgot. Oh.
Turn on listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen